watching via social media will have the opportunity to also ask all the relevant questions that will inform our decision come December 7th. And so if you ask me, it's really going to be an exciting time right here at the Joy FM Showbiz Round Table. It is the 5th edition under the theme Manifesto debate on creative economy. I'd like for you to know that this event is excellently executed by Philip Nye with support from Anita Tay, and it's proudly powered by Joy Entertainment. My name is Noella Kariniali. I'm not your moderator, I'm your MC, and pretty shortly I will be introducing your moderator to you. Once again, this is the Joy FM Showbiz Roundtable. You're welcome. Right. So that being said, let's kick things rolling by introducing to you our opening address that's going to be presented by the program's manager, director of Joy FM. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Adam Naite. A round of applause.
Thank you very much, Noella. That was a very excellent opening. I hope I am able to do a good job like you just did. Good afternoon to every one of you watching us from home. If you're listening on Joy 99.7 FM, thank you for joining us, and also on Joy Prime Television. And for those of you in-house, thank you all for joining us. Honorable Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Marco Kweku Mante Baba Sadiq, NDC Parliamentary Candidate for Okankwe Central Constituency, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Akwesi Ajiman, and a member of the NDC Manifesto Committee, Rex Omar. Good afternoon to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to every one of you. Now, as you're all well aware, our reason for being here this afternoon is a very simple one. What do the political parties seeking governance over our beloved country have for the creative arts industry? How do they intend to turn the industry into a vibrant economy? I am sure the economic power of this industry is not lost on any of us sitting here. However, do we have the right policies? And do we have the political will to do what is right by this industry? That is the main reason we're here. Just something little for us to chew on. And according to the UNDP, the United Nations Development Program, the creative industry generates yearly revenues of 2 trillion and employs approximately 50 million people globally. My question here is, how much do we contribute to this global figure? Do we know? Closely linked to that finding is the fact that approximately half of these workers are women. And these businesses employ more people aged between 15 and 29 than any other industry in the world. That is really something for us to consider. Very important for us not to toy with this industry that some of us so love. I belong deeply into this industry. I studied Bachelor of Fine Arts at NAFTI. And so everything concerning this industry concerns me. We are all very much aware that the creative industry is a labor-intensive one, and it relies heavily on human creativity and talents from different disciplines and professions. Look around you. We have a program that's going to run over just about 4 hours. But if you have to look back to the number of people who had to work on this program, from conceptualization, meetings, even finance people, HR team members, everybody coming together before we are realizing this today will let you understand that this industry is a gold mine. It employs every brain and talent, and it's one that we all cannot toy with. So this afternoon, it's very simple. We're eager to hear how you intend to make Ghana play significantly on this global stage. Convince us, thrill us, and most importantly for me, I want to know how committed you are to making us realize These promises beyond the political talk. That's all we're here to do. And I'd like to say a very big thank you to the production team led by Philip Nye. You can give it up for them. Martin Kojo-Asare has been tremendous. Anita, the host, Kwame Dadzi, and everybody who has been working, the graphics team. A lot of people have worked in the background to make sure that we have today happening. And I'd like to say a very big thank you. Wherever you are, team members, please take a bow. You have done good by us. And that is why we are here. Let Ghana win. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Adam Naite is the program's director for Joy 99.7 FM, or should I say the Joy Cluster. Well, it's one thing she said that really stuck with me. She said that the creative economy is a gold mine that generates $2 trillion and employs 50 million people globally. Now, how much of these figures do we as Ghanaians contribute to or claim? And that is something that we can all ponder over while we go about our business for today. Once again, this is the Joy FM Showbiz Round Table. It's proudly powered by Joy Entertainment. And of course, we're live on Joy News, live on Joy Prime Television. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM and online across all our social media platforms. You can join us. It's an interactive event, and so you can share your thoughts with us on X, former Twitter, with the hashtag JoyFM Showbiz Round Table. Now it's now time for us to introduce to you our keynote address speaker. He's a very special, may I say, character, because he really is a character, if you know him. Now, he is a distinguished figure in the Ghanaian marketing, communications, and media industry, renowned for his extensive experience and significant contributions spanning over 2.5 decades. Now, with a solid background in media, planning, buying, digital marketing, and marketing management, he has worked with and on some of the biggest global blue chip brands. Now, his media career began with Graphic Showbiz, where his exceptional reporting skills and editorial insights quickly propelled him to influential positions as the country's foremost newspaper columnist and radio and television pundit on arts, tourism, and entertainment. Now, as general manager digital in 2017 and general manager TV in 2020 at Media General Group, he introduced innovative programs boosting TV3's viewership from 15% to a whopping 14% market share. He holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and an executive MBA in marketing from the University of Ghana Business School. He's passionate about travel and tourism in Africa and dedicated to community and charitable activities promoting media literacy and education in Ghana. Currently, he serves as Chief Operating Officer at Digital Plugin Limited, supervising editor of Festivals Afrique magazine, and host of a travel podcast, Africa Rising. I fondly refer to him as Chairman Docs or Don Docs. But ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause, welcome your keynote address speaker, Francis Doku.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Noella, and thank you to the production team led by Philip Nye for the pressure and everything else over the past 1 month. And I stand on the protocol that Mrs. Naite laid earlier, and I say that today we want to look at how we can put our country in a space that it would leverage all the opportunities available to make us win, in my view, both in the creative arts and the tourism space. Because indeed, creative arts is just the bolt and nut that makes sure that tourism wins on the continent. So, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and creative minds, it is my great honor and to stand before you at this very critical moment in our country's creative economy. Today's event, the 5th Manifesto debate on creative economy, offers a unique opportunity, in my view, to discuss the intersection of politics, creativity, and tourism, a discussion that will shape our future, I believe. In our collective journey, we must acknowledge those who laid the foundation. It's important that we do that. Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, was not only a visionary for political independence, but also a leader who understood the value of culture and creativity in nation building. He firmly believed that cultural identity and artistic expression were central to developing a united, prosperous, and progressive nation. Through his leadership, the foundation of our modern creative sector was laid. His support for the arts led to the creation of the institutions like the National Theatre Movement and the Institute of African Studies, as we know, with the support of Professor Sutherland and co., which were aimed at promoting African culture and creativity. His belief that culture was an essential pillar of national development lives on today as Ghana stands at the crossroads of fully interlocking the potential of our creative industries. It is time to build on a foundation that was laid by Nkrumah and that which other leaders have also tried to work on to further strengthen our position as a global hub for cultural expression and tourism. Ghana's creative economy, the current state. I think that Ghana's creative economy or creative sector is blossoming with world-renowned talent, as we know, like Rocky Dawuni, Sarkodie, Stoneboy, Shatawale, Wiyala, Efia, to name a few, who have not only dominated the African music scene, but have also pushed the boundaries internationally. However, the successes of some of these talents should be mirrored in structures that ensure the collective growth of the industry. A lot more people must benefit from the industry. We need to create an enabling environment for upcoming talent across all creative sectors, including film, comedy, literature, theater, fashion, and all. A critical aspect of this discussion, in my view, then, therefore, is gender representation. I think it would be a bit of a remiss if we have this conversation and not look at how all genders will be well represented. Despite some progress, women remain unrepresented in key decision-making roles within the creative industries. While icons like Shirley Frimpong Manson, Lydia Forson, Yvonne Nelson, Yvonne Okoro, and others have blazed the trail, there's still a lot of work to be done, in my view. We need policies and programs that will uplift women and offer them equal opportunities for leadership, funding, and international exposure. If we are serious about building a sustainable creative economy, I believe that gender parity must be prioritized, in my humble view. Tourism as an economic driver. Tourism is one sector that holds immense potential for Ghana's economy, and it is intricately linked to our creative industries. The potential is there, but our figures show we are underperforming or could do better. In 2023, Ghana welcomed just over 1 million international visitors, which, while this number may seem impressive because, of course, we broke the 1 million barrier in 2019, it pales in comparison to countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Botswana, and others on the African continent, who attract millions. We therefore need to boost tourism as a driver of the creative economy, and we must address the following critical issues if we may do so. I believe that visa reform, and I hope some of this reflect in the different parties' positions on the creative economy and tourism. Visa reforms. Our visa regime remains a major barrier for tourism growth in Africa. Countries like Rwanda, for instance, and Kenya have implemented visa on arrival and digital visa processing systems, making it easier for tourists to visit. Ghana must follow suit. Simplifying the process will lead to an influx of international tourists eager to experience our rich culture. Leisure and cultural tourism. Ghana's vibrant festivals such as Manifesto, Emancipation, and Chalewote have attracted global attention over the years. However, These events should be scaled up, in my view, to become year-round attractions that pull in international tourists in larger numbers. Imagine a festival in Ghana comparable to Rio's Carnival or the Notting Hill Carnival, a multiple-day event that draws in global stars, street parties, art competitions, workshops, and cultural exhibitions. This would position Ghana as a premier destination for cultural tourism. MICE, that is meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. Business tourism is a fast-growing sector globally, and Ghana is well positioned to become a regional leader. To achieve this, we need to invest in world-class conference centers and hotels and improve our transportation infrastructure. By creating a conducive environment for international conferences and exhibitions, we can boost both tourism and a creative economy, I believe. The role of policy in driving creative growth, I think now focus on what policy do we have to look at in making sure that we develop our creative growth. For Ghana's creative economy to flourish, it is not enough to rely on individual success stories. As previously mentioned, we need sound policies that provide structural and financial support to the industry. Some key areas for policy intervention, in my view, are: one, funding and infrastructure. Creative entrepreneurs need access to funding and the right infrastructure. We've had conversations about this over the years, about funding. This includes creative hubs, co-working spaces, and incubators that provide emerging talent with the resources to innovate. The government, in partnership with the private sector, must establish creative funds that can support innovation and entrepreneurship. Intellectual property protection. The strength of our creative economy hinges on protecting intellectual property rights. Stronger IP laws will encourage creators to innovate, knowing that their work is safeguarded from exploitation. This will not only foster creativity within Ghana, but also create opportunities for collaboration with international stakeholders. Digital innovation and integration. The future of Ghana's creative industries lies in embracing digital technologies. Whether it is music streaming online, content creation, or virtual tourism, digital platforms are opening new opportunities for creators. When we must invest in the necessary digital infrastructure to support these developments and ensure that Ghanaian creatives can compete on a global stage. Let me move a bit down to creating an aviation hub. I think it's very important that building Ghana into a West African aviation hub is crucial if we are to significantly increase tourism and support our creative industries. Countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, and Togo offer prime examples of how a strong national airline and aviation strategy can transform a country's tourism sector. I mean, by example, Ethiopia's Bole International Airport is key aviation hub in Africa, largely due to Ethiopian Airlines, which has strategically positioned itself as Africa's largest and most profitable airline. Addis Ababa has become a major stopover for international travelers, serving as a great way not only to Africa, but to Europe and Asia. This development has significantly boosted tourism, with Ethiopia welcoming over millions of tourists and other transit visitors annually. Ghana, with its central location in West Africa, we say we're the gateway to West Africa, is perfectly positioned, in my view, to replicate these successes by revitalizing Ghana's national airline. I don't know, if any of the parties are willing to bring back the national fly the national flag by introducing the airline, we can create an aviation hub that promotes leisure tourism, MICE tourism, and make Ghana an attractive destination for business travelers. The return of the national carrier, I believe, to international markets can serve as a mobile marketing platform showcasing Ghana's cultural and tourism offerings to the world. Now let me look at the future. The goals for the future, in my view, is truly unlock the potential of Ghana's creative arts and tourism sectors. A future-forward strategy must focus on three key fundamental pillars: education, innovation, and investment. These will form the bedrock for long-term growth and sustainability, allowing creative economy to evolve and thrive in an increasingly competitive global landscape. Education. Education is a cornerstone for both creative arts and tourism, ensuring the practitioners and professionals are well equipped to compete globally. Formal education institutions to strengthen institutions like NAFTI, University of Ghana, we know they train a lot of people in the creative area, and the KNUST and others. We need to look at how to properly train. Expanding curricula to include business management, digital marketing, and intellectual property rights will help creatives commercialize their work and build sustainable careers. Informal learning and skills development, launching a nationwide workshop, masterclass, and mentorship programs with industry experts, offering real-world experience in storytelling, digital production, and distribution platforms. And then also cultural education, encourage the teaching of African history, folklore, and indigenous crafts in schools, ensuring that future generations understand and appreciate the heritage while finding ways to commercialize it creatively will help. In terms of tourism, I think that we need to look at how to expand the number of hospitality schools offering diplomas and degrees to train local talent in tourism management, because one of the key areas where we lack is management of tourism facilities and customer service and travel planning. We need to look at how to build institutions like the Hot Cat and Cape Coast, University of Cape Coast and Co., who are offering training to tourism practitioners to ensure that they can compete globally. We also need to do community training, provide education to local communities on economic value of tourism, helping them develop cultural and ecotourism experience. Example, heritage tours, rural states that can attract international visitors while creating jobs locally. As Ede mentioned, that sector employs a lot of people if we do it well, and we can let the communities understand how they can help employ their own people. Now, going on to innovation, I think that we need to look at expanding support for streaming platforms, e-commerce, and content distribution technologies that allow Ghanaian creators to reach global audiences. Platforms like Spotify and Netflix are proving critical for music and film, and we can develop local equivalents that will help our creatives to thrive. Using the likes of AI and AR and VR in creativity, invest in artificial intelligence tools for creative processes like music composition, arts, visual arts, and film editing, as well as virtual and augmented reality for immersive cultural storytelling. People now sit in their homes and they tour many countries that they haven't stepped to. We need to look at how to work our ways around those things. And also look at encouraging creators to adopt different technological means such as the blockchains and NFTs to secure ownership of their digital work and generate revenue streams outside of the traditional safe channels that we know. And let me move on to investment. In terms of investment, I think that we need to look at, with the creative arts sector, for instance, looking at how to let a government involve private sector to encourage collaborations between different companies and the government and financial institutions to fund infrastructure for creative hubs and studios across major cities like Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi. This would foster the growth of local talent and create jobs within the creative economy. We also need to look at how to establish a creative economy fund. I believe if we have a creative economy fund supported by the government and international agencies in the private sector to offer grants and low-interest loans to filmmakers, musicians, designers, and startups. This could be modeled after, in my view, the UK's Creative Industries Fund to support our creative industry. And then look at also tax incentives, introduce tax breaks for investments in the creative sector, incentivizing private investment and reducing operational costs for creative entrepreneurs. Also, in terms of tourism, I think we need to look at how to develop the infrastructure, increase investment in tourism infrastructure, including airports and highways, hotels and resorts, particularly in underdeveloped areas where we know that tourism thrives. World-class airports like Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta, previously referred to, and Addis Ababa's Bole International have bolstered tourism. And aviation hub development. Kotoka, I believe that we can transform Kotoka into a regional aviation hub, similar to what's happening in Lome, by improving air connectivity, and then also looking at how to attract international airlines more. A well-established aviation hub will increase tourist arrivals and enhance the business tourism, including MICE and opportunities. And now coming to the end, I think that potential funding sources, we always talk about funding and all that, but there are different potential funding sources, I believe, from multinational agencies, because the government really can't do everything. And we need to look at how to engage other sources, multilateral agencies. We have to look at how to seek funds from organizations such as the World Bank, the UN, WTO. Many agencies are able to acquire funds to help develop themselves, and we can do that for tourism, infrastructure projects, particularly in the ecotourism and cultural heritage conservation, and also look at some foreign direct investment. In conclusion, as we prepare to hear from the representatives of the NPP and the NDC, it is essential to remember that the policies we discuss today will determine the future of Ghana's creative economy and the tourism sector. As the foundation laid and succeeding leaders have built on, it is now our responsibility to take it further by making Ghana the tourism destination that we all want, with the support of a flourishing creative arts industry. The creative economy is one of the fastest growing sectors in the world, and Ghana has the talent, culture, and potential to become a global leader. Let us seize this opportunity to create a brighter future for Ghana, and to Ghana's creatives, our tourism industry, and the country as a whole. Thank you, and God bless us all.
A round of applause for Francis Doku for such a sound, profound keynote address. I mean, he had a lot of excellent suggestions to give all of us. I'm going to hold on to 2 or 3 of them. One of them being that we need to create an enabling environment for creators across sectors. Also, that we need to come up with policies that enable women in positions of power to empower our women. I mean, that is an excellent suggestion if you ask me. I mean, I'm biased, I'm a woman. And also, a possible relaunch of Ghana Airways. That would be really, really great. Once again, we'd like to welcome you to the Joy FM Showbiz Round Table. It is on the theme Manifesto Debate on Creative Economy. It's the 5th edition. And I'd also like to acknowledge some of our sponsors, to Aswevo Security for offering us security. Thank you so much. To MTN and to Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. And I've seen some great industry persons or people also in our midst. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Kojo Preko Dankwa, who is the president of FOCAP. Also to an excellent pundit, Edem Chachome and Koka. Thank you so much for your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Joy FM Showbiz Roundtable. Let's take a quick breather. When we come back, we have more for you. Welcome back. This is the Joy FM Showbiz Roundtable. It's the 5th edition under the theme Manifesto Debate on Creative Economy. My name is Noella Karen Iyali. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News, Joy Prime Television, and online across all our social media platforms. Thank you so much for your presence. Now, I'd like to also acknowledge Aswevo Security, MTN, Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink, and of course, a wonderful studio audience as well. Now it's now time for me to introduce to you our speakers. But before then, I'd like to tell you or reiterate the reason why we are gathered here. And basically, as you know, it's a politically charged season. And so we want to offer a platform to the 2 leading political parties in our country to share their thoughts with us on what their plans are basically to develop our country. And so we have representatives from the NPP and the NDC in our midst today. And in turns, they will be on the stage sharing with you what their plans are for our country. We'll also have the opportunity to ask our questions, but right before that, they will scrutinize each other. We'll have a session where they scrutinize each other based off of their promises, both enshrined in their respective manifestos and what they will be telling you as well here today. And then when that is done, we'll have the opportunity to ask all the relevant questions, of which answers will inform our decision come December 7th. And so once again, you're welcome to the Joy FM Showbiz Round Table. Let me now introduce to you our speakers for today. In no particular order, let me begin with our first speaker. Now, Honorable Mark Okweku-Mantey is the Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Now, before his appointment as the Deputy Minister, he was the Acting Creative Art Council President, where he engaged creative practitioners across the country vis-a-vis soliciting their input to facilitate the passage of the Creative Industries Bill. And organizing monthly masterclasses to equip industry players on their various disciplines. Now, he was the liaison between government and the creative industry for strategic decision-making purposes. Now, Honorable Mark, from February 2014 to March 2021, was engaged by the Multimedia Group Limited, where he, as the programs director, where he was visibly noted for his creative skills in the development and promotion of programs. Now known for his accuracy and conformance to the rules and regulations governing the multimedia space, he was always involved in resolving program log inaccuracies. This he did alongside many other schedules connected to production, content generation, using best practices as his benchmark. Now, he was the Chief Executive Officer of Slip Entertainment, now Slip Mark Entertainment, which has been in existence since 2006 till date. At Slip Mark Entertainment, Mark went into music production, producing hits Ghanaian artists such as George Jara in 2006 and Nana Tufo around 2002. In 2001, he produced Oheneba Kisi and Dasibre Jamina in 1999 and Lord Kenya in 1998. Honorable was also into film and drama executive productions with Ephira TV series as one of his successful productions. Now, his multi-talented nature drove him into events and programs. Notable amongst such events are the MTN Music Festival, in 2018 Club Life, High Life Festival, and the most watched TV3 mentorship program in 2006 to 2012. The Deputy Minister served on the board of the Vodafone, now Telecel Ghana Music Awards, the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, and the Copyright Society of Ghana, COSGA. Now, he has been at the forefront in ensuring the growth and the creative industry nationally and internationally through partnership and industry development assistance that facilitated pathways to commercialization and innovation. Representing the NPP, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Deputy Tourism Minister, Mark Okweku-Mantey. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on, Mr. Kwesi Agyemang is the CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, the lead public service agency in charge of regulating tourism in Ghana through marketing and promotion, licensing and classification of tourism facilities and services, investments, research and development. He was previously a shareholding partner of Global Alliance, Media Alliance, where he was in charge of 1 TV station and 4 radio stations. Until recently, he was the president of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association. And Mr. Agyemang holds an MBA in Marketing and Information Systems from Tulane University in Louisiana. I understand he completed in 2003 in the USA. Now, he also holds a bachelor's degree in social sciences and, of course, a master's in public administration from the University of Ghana. Now, Mr. Agyemang has over 15 years' experience in project management, crisis communication, PR, and media relations, banking, and relationship management as well. And he has worked in senior level capacities with EcoBank, Merchant Bank, Stanbic Bank in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, also representing the NPP, Mr. Kwesi Agyemang. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your presence. Moving on to the opposing side, the NDC, Rex Owusu Marfo, widely known as Rex Omar, is one of the leading musicians in Ghana who has trained as a management professional, specializing in intellectual property rights, being one of the leading authorities in the subject in Ghana. Now, he was elected as chairman of the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, in March 2017 to serve a 4-year term and has been re-elected to serve another term. Congratulations, sir. Now, his talent and knowledge of the music industry has gained him several positions in the industry, such as the former vice president of the Copyright Society of Ghana, member of the 2013 Committee for National Intellectual Property and Policy Strategy, also a former head of business and finance of the Musicians Union of Ghana, and currently a member of Swizzer, a copyright society in Switzerland, and is on publishing contract with EMI in Germany. Now, on the political scene, Rex has been the advisor of the former president John Dramani Mahama and the National Democratic Congress, advising the party on the importance and development of the creative arts in the cultural and entertainment industry right here in Ghana. He has also been the party's public spokesperson on matters relating to this industry. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the NDC is Mr. Rex Owusu Marfo. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence as well. Last but certainly not least, Sadiq Abdullahi Abu, popularly known as Baba Sadiq, is a trained media and communications specialist, entrepreneur, and a politician who has worked his way up the African media and communication sustainability industries within the last 20 years. Now, he has worked in various capacities as a media and communications executive and an entrepreneur. Now, Sadiq is the founder and former chief executive officer, CEO of 3 Media Networks Limited, operators of music media brand, 3 Music TV, and 3 Music Awards. Now, Sadiq is also the founder and executive director of the Wilderland Foundation and ESG Foundation, famed for the Wilderland Festival. He was, the founding director of Boom Play in Ghana, leading the acquisition of nearly 11 million users and securing content from top Ghanaian and African creators. Now, prior to that, he worked at Modern Times Group, MTG Africa, leading Vice at Once, which was Ghana's, programming team, to win 18 awards in a year and a half. Now, he also co-founded Muse Africa, a lifestyle and entertainment brand, and worked on various projects for Viacom International Networks Africa and Vodafone, now Telecel. He's a politician and member of the National Democratic Congress, serving as the party's spokesperson on tourism, arts, and culture. Sadiq has made regular media appearances and is a sought-after speaker and moderator in the industry. He is currently the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Okaikwe Central Constituency and a member of the party's Manifesto Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, the charismatic Sadiq Abdullahi Abu. Thank you, sir, for your presence. So once again, you are watching the Joy FM Showbiz Round Table. It's the 5th edition under the theme Manifesto Debate on Creative Economy. We are live on Joy News, live on Joy Prime Television, live on Joy 99.7 FM, and of course, live across all our social media platforms. Thank you so much for your viewership and listenership. It's now time for me to introduce to you the moderator. Kwame Datsi is an entertainment journalist who works at the Multimedia Group Limited. He hosts Ghana's most authoritative entertainment talk show, Showbiz A to Z on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, he is noted for his progressive stories and think pieces on the creative economy. For the past 15 years of being in the showbiz space, Kwame Datsi has served various capacities as entertainment journalist in print media, radio, and television. He has also been instrumental in different forms of activism for the cultural and creative industries. Kwame played a pivotal role in the revival of the Arts and Tourism Writers Association of Ghana, ATWAG, a group of Ghanaian arts writers, journalists, and media workers who seek to promote arts, tourism, and culture, reporting in Ghana while developing the professional capacity and the welfare of its members. Now, he also served as the group's public relations officer for 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me so much pleasure to introduce to you your moderator for this event, Mr. Kwame Datsi. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome once again, the Showbiz Round Table, here live from the studios of Joy Prime, and we're live on Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM, and on manjoyonline.com. So this is the day we've been waiting for. We have about 84 days to December 7, when we shall be going to the polls, and some political parties have put together their manifestos for the creative economy, which is one that is actually promising for global GDP. And right here in Ghana, we have so many people plying their trade in areas of film, music, comedy, publishing, among others. And as a fourth estate of government, what we are doing is to give the platform to these policymakers to tell us how they're going to grow our industry. This is a manifesto debate on creative economy, first of its kind, because this is history in the making. Now, before I even introduce and bring onto the stage the various speakers for today's program, let me run you through the ground rules that we have. Let me also say that we have divided this event into 4 parts. So, we have the first part, which is a presentation of manifesto promises or the policy ideas from both the NDC and the NPP. And they'll be doing that for 15 minutes each. So you decide which of your speakers will come just behind the lectern to present or to do that presentation. It's 15 minutes each from either party. And then after that, we shall go for the second round, where I get to ask the various political parties questions based on their manifesto promises and other things in the creative industry. So it's not only about the policies in your manifesto, but also other things in the creative industry. After that, we also get into the cross-examination. So either party will get the chance to cross-examine. You can ask NPP question, NPP can ask NDC question as well. And that is how we're going to have this event unfold. And then people right here in the studio will also have the chance to ask questions. Apart from that, if you're watching us right from home, you can send in your messages to 055-11-11997 or 0551-575757. If you have any questions, you need to send them to that particular number. Or you can also get interactive on social media. We're live on all our social media handles: Joy Prime, Joy FM, Joy News, Hits 103.9 FM, and we're live on manjoyonline.com. Now, let me read to you the ground rules for today's event. Now, any form of clapping, commentary, or disruptive behavior during a speaker's presentation is strictly prohibited. Applause is only permitted after the presentation has fully concluded. Under no circumstances will interruptions, interjections, or unsolicited rebuttals be tolerated while a speaker is making their submission. All participants must allow speakers to present without interference. Also, speakers may call on co-speakers to assist in the submission. So, the main speaker will come here, stand behind the lectern, but anytime the other speaker wants to chip in something, you need to do that, and you would have to alert the moderator before you do that. So, any attempt to circumvent this procedure will not be allowed. Also note, personal attacks, insults, or slander directed at any individual involved in the debate or its organization would not be tolerated under any circumstances. Such behavior will result in immediate action by the organizers. Again, all questions from guests must be concise, fact-based, and delivered respectfully. Any question that includes personal attacks, insinuations, or impoliteness will be dismissed without consideration. Still right here, Joy 99.7 FM is Joy News, Joy Prime, and this is the Showbiz Round Table Manifesto debate on creative economy, produced by Philip Nye, with support from Anita Te and Martin Owusu Asare. And this particular event is sponsored by MTN Everywhere You Go, and then Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. Also get to know the other people who are supporting this particular great event, which are the various associations that we have in this industry, from Musica to Actors Guild to Artwork to FOCAP. Everybody is right behind this wonderful program right here. Now, it's time for me to invite to the podium the two great parties and their representatives, but not after we invite the NPP. The NPP is actually going to do the presentation first, so they will be doing that for 15 minutes. Then right after that, we get to the NDC. After the presentations, we get back right here, and then I will be asking the questions you've been waiting for. So, right now, let me invite to the stage as the NPP gets ready to deliver their presentation. Let's put our hands together as we welcome to the podium the NPP, and I hope Mark Okreko-Mantey, Deputy Minister, Honorable, is going to do the presentation for. Okay, so Akwesi Ajiman, the GTA boss, is going to do the presentation for the NPP. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome Mr. Akwesi Ajiman, who is the GTA CEO. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Which means that you do it.
Okay, so Mr. Akwesi Ajiman, you can now proceed with your presentation. If you have any videos to play, whether you want to start with it or after, you can do that right now, within 15 minutes.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's program. I'm here with my boss, the Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, and my two brothers, Baba Sadiq and Rexoma. We're here, for me, it's not a debate, it's a conversation, because we believe that we've done enough to frontline conversations around tourism, arts, and culture. And that is the reason why we have this historic day, for the first time having a debate at Joy FM on the creative arts economy. And over the last 7 years, under the impressive leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we've seen tremendous growth in the sector. And we believe that, inshallah, when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia takes over, the next administration will even do better and continue to position the tourism sector. So we have our presentation in two parts. First, I want to play a video. Thank you.
Over the last 7 years, the new patriotic party, the NPP, has made significant strides aiming to position Ghana as a cultural and tourism hub in Africa. In 2016, the NPP laid out an ambitious plan for the tourism and creative arts sector. Key promises included the establishment of a Creative Arts Council and a fund, the empowering of the Ghana Tourism Authority to promote Ghana as a prime tourism destination, the construction of new theaters, enhancing diaspora engagement, improving tourism infrastructure, among others. The party established the Creative Arts Council, which provided the platform for engagement with the creative arts sector and oversaw the passage of the Creative Arts Act, which has birthed for the first time the Creative Arts Agency. The NPP also set up the National Film Authority, which has been at the forefront of the development of the film sector. Creative Arts Fund was a major promise. It aimed to provide financial support to artists and creative enterprises, fostering growth and innovation in the sector. The promises for this is currently ongoing. Another significant promise was the construction of theaters in major capitals intended to boost local arts and provide venues for performances and events. Fast forward to today, the theater in Koforidua has been completed and is now a hub for cultural performances. Construction of amphitheaters in Kumasi, Takoradi, Tamale and Accra are well underway, showcasing the NPP's commitment to their promises. In 2020, the NPP promised to build a world-class convention and exhibition center at the Ghana Trade Fair Company site in La, and to implement tax incentives to attract private sector investments. The convention center construction is underway. This convention and exhibition center is a game changer. When completed, it will be one of the largest of its kind globally, attracting international events and boosting tourism and the arts. The NPP's efforts have also led to the promotion of cultural festivals and tourist attractions. Initiatives like the Year of Return in 2019 brought global attention to Ghana, significantly boosting tourism and the creative arts. December in GH, created by the Ghana Tourism Authority GTA in 2019, has become a platform for our creatives. Events like Afrofuture, Little Havana, Rhythm on the Runway, Wilderland, etc. have all been supported by government through the Ghana Tourism Authority and have benefited the sector operators, event organizers, musicians, sound engineers, MCs, bandsmen, among others. The improvement of the operations of the Ghana Tourism Authority has been pivotal. The authority's initiatives include the development of an extensive framework aimed at improving infrastructure at tourist hotspots, streamlining services, and enhancing marketing efforts to attract international visitors. This has resulted in an upsurge of tourist arrivals, helping local economies. Last year, the country welcomed 1.148 million visitors. Through the See Ghana, Eat Ghana, Wear Ghana initiative, domestic tourism has also grown significantly, reaching a record 1.4 million in 2023. Tourism sector contribution to GDP hovers around $3.8 billion, benefiting SMEs and several players in the value chain. Another NPP promise was the improvement of tourism infrastructure. Through this, sites that have been upgraded over the last 7 years include the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, the Accra Tourism Information Center Phase 2, including where Gold Coast Restaurant operates, which has become a hub for the arts, Kintampo Waterfalls, Tafi Atome Monkey Sanctuary, Salada Slave Market, Bonvire Kente Museum, Odianoma Paragliding Site, Bunso Eco Park, Pikro Slavery Camp. Works are ongoing in Tano Obuasi Sacred Grove, Dejira Chechirere Eco Park, Nationalism Park, and the Gese Park, all in Accra. Furthermore, the NPP's focus on international partnerships have paved the way for collaborations with global tourism and cultural organizations like NAACP, Grammys, Ebony and Essence have all been engaged in collaboration with the country. As we look back on the NPP's promises and achievements, it's clear that significant progress have been made. The journey continues with ongoing projects and new initiatives aimed at further transforming Ghana's tourism, creative arts, and culture sector. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Ghana's cultural renaissance. Over the last
Thank you very much and welcome back. Let's go for a short commercial break. As we introduce, we believe we've done enough, and so we have 15 minutes. So let's hear it out.
Creative arts sector.
Okay. Yeah, so that is Tia produced by Mark Okrikumante, and you know he does it always with the best. But now we go to the plan. The NPP, based on the solid foundation laid over the past 7 years, has a plan and has made commitments for the next chapter. So commitment number 1 is to set up Ghana as a conference and exhibition destination through a conference facility. Currently, there's work ongoing at the Ghana International Trade Fair site, and I believe that Joy FM, Joy Prime will help us go there, show Ghanaians the amount of work that is going on there to build a world-class international conference facility so that we can really be the MICE destination that we say we want to be. And then we also have promised to implement travel protocol services to support artists, performers, and other deserving creatives. We know the challenge that our brothers and sisters in the creative fraternity go through when they have to travel. And in this global space that we are, government under the NPP will be providing support services through the travel protocol services, the TPS. Importantly, we want to provide tax incentives and funding to stimulate private sector investments in the arts. This we have done before under President Kufuor, and in the next NPP government, the next chapter, we are going to stimulate the industry with tax incentives to grow. Then we are going to set up a cultural fund to provide sustainable funding for the cultural players, people within the chieftaincy institutions, and then also the creative art space. We said we are going to accelerate Ghana's aviation potential by intensifying efforts to establish a national airline. Our speaker, guest speaker, was emphatic on that, and so under the NPP, next chapter, you're going to see that. Our Vice President, the flag bearer, has already mentioned the construction of the Cape Coast Airport in the Upper East. We want to for those of you who have visited Kotoka International Airport in recent times, you see the sort of pressure that is there. So over there, we want to construct a multi-story car park to make sure that it opens up really and make sure that we can have all the people coming in. And then the extension of the Kumasi Airport runway is part of that aviation growth that we want to see, because that is also a support pillar for the tourism and the arts sector. Commitments continue. We want to maximize opportunities around copyright, preserve heritage by working with relevant stakeholders to embark on a massive archival project to protect our historic films and documents. Already work has started under this government where we've paid for some of the films that are locked up elsewhere, and we want to bring them in so that we can archive all our works. That work is currently ongoing. Facilitate tracking, collection, and distribution of royalties to enable creatives assess and manage revenues. This we are doing because we want to help our brother Rex Omar, so the people don't continue to say Rex hasn't paid us our royalties. Commitments continue. We want to introduce a visa-free policy for nationals of African and Caribbean countries visiting Ghana. We've done it before with a year of return. Now Ghana is a Pan-African hub, and we believe that with a visa-free policy for the global African family, that will really bring them in and solidify Ghana's reputation. The soft power, when I talk about soft power, Ghana's cultural heritage and the level that it's gone through based on things like this, the year of return, beyond the return, is something that we want to continue. And then also implement an e-visa policy for international visitors to simplify and speed up the acquisition process. Use technologies to create new jobs in tourism, creative arts, and sports, and establish regional creative hubs to foster innovation and collaboration in the creative arts sector. These are commitments that we have made in our recently launched manifesto. And we've done it before, and so definitely there is cause to believe that this will be done under a strong NPP government in the next chapter. Commitments continue. Provide incentives, including flat tax rates to motivate private sector investment in the arts and tourism facility. This is something that is well thought out. It's based on engagements with stakeholders, and we believe that it will help. And importantly, establish a national hospitality training school to prioritize training and upskilling. When we were promised in 2016 that we were going to revive Hotcat, our opponent said it's not possible. We did. Hotcat is revived, and now they are training people, and now we are going to even go a notch further by setting up a national hospitality training school. Develop a policy to make Ghana a strategic medical tourism hub through PPPs. We know that medical tourism is growing. India, Dubai, Turkey are now taking the lead, and we want to be there as well. Thankfully, under the Agenda 111 project, hospitals are going to be everywhere. And so medical tourism is something that can grow. And then also accelerate the ongoing investments in the coastal sea defense programs to protect communities. Beachfront development is important, but we know that a lot of our beachfronts, because of the tidal waves, are being washed away. And so we've seen the sort of sea defense project that has been undertaken under this government, and that is also going to be part of the framework for our tourism and arts development. Enhance diplomatic relations with the Caribbean through diplomatic missions. We've done it now. Whenever we go to the Caribbean, Ghana is the #1 destination in Africa. And we believe that establishing diplomatic relationships will help position Ghana even further. We've passed a diaspora engagement policy, and we are going to continue with it. Implementation of the Beyond the Return and December and GH programs. And here I want to highlight that this is one thing that I was quite disappointed not seeing it in the manifesto of brothers and sisters in the NDC, because everybody can attest that December and GH is something that has really positioned Ghana globally. And so I would have expected that they will say, oh, they will continue what the NPP started. But let's hear them. Maybe they have different ideas, but I believe that the NPP has promised that December and GH will stay under an NPP government so that the creative industry, all the event organizers, people within the value chain will benefit. Explore partnership with the private sector for gold tourism. And so one of the things that we want to do is to set up a gold museum. The conversations have gone on with players within the gold mining industry, and I think some in attracting tourists from the new markets like Asia to increase global tourism market share. And finally, enhance economic ties using AFTA, AFCFTA. We, under the NPP, managed to get it hosted here, and we believe that it provides a perfect platform to build on to make sure that we boost Ghana-made products and services, and strategically integrate the road network with other modes of transport. We've done the railways to Mpakadan, which really opens up that size. If you go to Akosombo, the number of hotels that are here, Peninsula, Senchi, Bridge View, and all that. So we need a railway to support the road network, and we believe that we have shown commitment to be able to open up the country through road and railway. Finally, and in conclusion, the goals and commitments for Ghana's creative and arts and tourism sector aims to drive economic growth, one, create jobs, and enhance the nation's cultural and global presence. Yes, we've done it before over the last 8 years. We've shown commitment to the sector, and it's very clear that when it comes to tourism, arts, and culture, the NPP is tops. And we believe that the combined benefits of job creation, economic growth, cultural preservation, enhanced accessibility, skill development, and global presence underscores a transformative vision for Ghana's future. Our next president, Dr. Bawumia, means business. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Kwesi Agyemang and the NPP for that presentation. Now we are going straight to the NDC. They are taking turn to deliver their presentation now. Still right here, Showbiz Round Table, 5th edition, the Manifesto debate on creative economy, and we're live on Joy FM, live on Joy News, Joy Prime, and joyonline.com, and all our social media handles. And this is history in the making. The NDC are taking their turn to deliver their presentation of policy ideas in their 2024 manifesto. Yes, and you can send in your questions, your reservations, anything you have to tell us right now via 055-1111-997, 055-1111-997, or 0551-575757. This event is brought to you by MTN everywhere you go, and Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. Yes, so you can get interactive right now on social media, Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy News, Joy Prime. We are very active right now, and on myjoyonline.com. The NDC, if you are ready, please take your turn right now. Let's put our hands together for them. Let's put our hands together for the NDC. And Rex Omar is doing this for the NDC. Rex.
Thank you very much. As I sat down and listening to my brother, Kwesi Ajimai, I was laughing because they don't have anything to show. They were using the first time for gymnastics and stuff like that. But anyway, we mean business. So we want to go straight to the point. The next NDC government is looking to the broad spectrum of both culture, creative economy, and tourism. So, the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, envisions a bold and new chapter for the creative artists viewed within the 24-hour economy in resetting Ghana under the banner of the Black Star Experience. Now I want to talk about the Black Star Experience. The Black Star Experience is something, it's going to be the tagline for the entire culture, creative economy, and tourism. Our opponent was saying something like, they've done something like the year of return and then the GH in December. Don't worry, we are not going to destroy it. We are looking at the bigger picture. So all of them will be part and will be under the Black Star Experience. Because this transformation vision aims to harness the dynamic energy of the creative economy to 1, propel economic growth, 2, forge sustainable employment pathways, 3, position Ghana as a preeminent cultural destination on the world stage. Ghana is renowned for its rich cultural heritage, vibrant art scenes, and stunning natural landscape with immense potential and untapped opportunity in the tourism, culture, arts sector. So the whole thing is to be able to create jobs, create new opportunities for Ghana. The year-round celebrations, this I want to let us understand what it means. Some of our opponents were saying that, oh, how are you going to organize events every year? It's not only about events. We want Ghana to be the tourist destination, so in every month something is happening. That's why we say year-round. The fact that you are observing or celebrating something does not mean you are doing an event. So, for example, when former President Kufuor said, Friday, wear made in Ghana, didn't we see every Ghanaian wearing made in Ghana? But why, as Ghanaians, why should we wear made in Ghana for one day? So every month we are going to do something. We are going to have the Pan-African Month celebrating heritage, history, and the diaspora and engagement. We are going to do Ghana Film Festival and Award Month. We are going to have Ghana Music World, Culinary Month, which has to do with food, architectural design, arts and craft, fashion and textile month. So any month that we don't have any of these things happening, it will be created. If there are some things happening already, it will be enhanced. Just like His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has said that any good thing that the NPP has done and have not been able to complete, just like the Creative Arts School, just like the some of the amphitheaters that some of them cannot be continued, those ones, the good ones will continue. The bad ones, we will skip them. Literacy and Literal Month. The Black Star Experience will, 1, partner with MMDAs to institute creative festivals in honor of Ghanaian legends for recognition, celebration, and inspiration. 2, introduce well-calendared Black Star Experience to inform planning and participation. 3, encourage community-based cultural programs and participatory planning to foster ownership and sustainability of cultural initiatives, harnessing culture for economic growth. So all these will be under the Black Star Experience as they form part of the creative economy. Now, harnessing culture for economic growth. So now we're coming to the cultural aspect, the heritage cultural aspect of it. Cultural villages or cultural village is a concept to showcase Ghana's diverse culture and boost domestic arts and tourism. We want to have villages, cultural villages in districts, in places that the people there will own the activities. So it's not going to be only Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi. So we want to expand it so as to be able to take from what is us, our culture, whether it's music, whether it's fashion, whether it's filming, whatever it is, the heritage cultural aspect will be our source. And then we add value to it, consume some, export some. That is what we intend to do with this. Number two, the cultural and artistic goods and services to be commercialized by facilitating financial literacy education among industry players. This point two is very, very crucial. We are targeting the AFTA, the Inter-African Free Trade Zone. This is a huge free trade zone. Fortunately, we have the headquarters in Ghana. What cultural goods and services are we creating so as to be able to take advantage of this huge market? So it is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's view that we should encourage and support a lot of the cultural entrepreneurs and artists to create a lot of cultural content, i.e. music. Music is exportable, film is exportable, sculpture is exportable. All the cultural goods and services, we will create a lot of them by supporting and encouraging their creators so as to be able to export. Digitalized experience, including virtual reality versions of museums, galleries, memory spaces, and creative content to present Ghanaian culture, heritage, recreational experiences, and brands. These days, when you go to museums elsewhere, some of the stuff that they don't have physical, they digitize them so that you can go and you see whatever you have to see. We are going to modernize most of our museums, and those of the regions that don't have them will create some. Capacity building in education, training, and sensitization in the cultural, arts, and tourism sector to empower young artists to contribute to the cultural and economic development of their communities. Again, capacity building is very crucial because we are not only dealing with the cultural heritage, we are now also dealing with the business, the economic aspect of culture. And it takes education and capacity building to be able to achieve all these things. The centers of national culture will be modernized into commercially viable performance spaces and construct new ones in the new regions. We mean the 6 new regions. How do we mean and what do we mean by this? These are the venues that we can create as cultural hubs that we intend to buy equipment, whatever it is that people will need, cultural entrepreneurs will need, artistic entrepreneurs will need to be able to create more products, and then to also be a source of education, hands-on education. At least now we have at least 10 of the cultural centers. We will create more and make it available, modernize them so that the young people can go there and then do their stuff there. International cultural organizations will be partnered to promote knowledge exchange, collaborations, and exposure to diverse artistic practices. I'll give, for example, when you go to elsewhere, like say music festival, when you meet with new musicians and new countries and how things are done, it equips you, it makes you see different things. I have benefited from that. For example, in Ghana, you give somebody 2 o'clock, come for sound check. They will get there 4 o'clock. By the time you go there, they'll tell you, you didn't come for sound check, so you can't perform. But when you perform or you operate in the international scene, you learn new things. And it's not only for music, it's also for filming, comedy, whatever it is. So we will create opportunities to make sure that we partner with international organizations to create opportunities for exchanges and collaborations. Traditional authorities partnership to promote the commercialization of heritage festivals. Like we have a lot of heritage festivals in Ghana. Ogbechocho, Akwesi Day, all these festivals, we want to make sure that it is part so that we imbibe these things in our youth and we make it part of the whole Black Star experience. And let me Harnessing culture, we are still there. 8, film village with equipment to be hired out at low rate for industry members, which is very, very important. These days, look at our TV screens. All we see is foreign soap operas that we do voiceover in tree on them. This is harming us, and it is harming our children, and it is harming our future generations. Apart from that, it is also taking jobs from our film creators, our actresses, our actors, our cameramen, everything that we are not doing, and giving opportunity for these foreign soap operas that has taken over our country, is taking the jobs from our people. So what we are going to do, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has proposed that we buy equipment, like create an equipment pool, so that film producers can rent top-class equipment at a lower rate, lower cost, so as to be able to first guarantee the quality of the films they are producing, and to be able to produce as much as possible to feed our screens and also to export, looking at the after market. Okay, no worries. And then 14, we talk about this thing, number 10, a special event channel. This is a game changer. A special event channel to create programs on digital terrestrial TV. This one is like, there's a channel, a big channel that we're going to create for all creative content. So a show is happening at the National Theatre, and then it takes only 1,500 people. They take it to say 1,000 cities. Not everybody can afford 1,000 cities. But this special channel, you can pay 1 city, 2 cities on your Momo, and you watch the event at the comfort of your own room. And in this scenario, because the money you are paying will go directly to the content creator or the producer, if you have 30 million Ghanaians, you can have at least 500,000 or 1 million people watching the program by paying 1 city or 2 cities, and it creates revenue for the artist. This one is another very important thing. Annual stakeholder dialogue with people in the creative arts industry. This, our manifesto, was not done by some few people sitting somewhere. This manifesto was done with the involvement with the stakeholders themselves, the industry people themselves. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is proposing that every year he will have a stakeholder dialogue with the entire creative industry to ensure that the policies he outlined is exactly what is going on, to reevaluate, to see where we are going, where have we reached, and all that, so that we won't have one person sitting down, bringing an idea that I want to do this, and he does it, and industry kicks against it, and it becomes a problem. So we want to avoid that. Career security through legal and financial protection, and mass pension scheme. This is another game changer for the industry, because now and then we hear big name in the creative industry or whatever, and by the time they grow, they don't have anything and all that. So there's going to be a mass. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has proposed that there's going to be a mass career security through legal and financial protection, and a mass pension for all the creative industry across board. Yeah, building a thriving creative economy. Yes. The Black Star Experience programs will invest and or support, 1, local content initiatives to drive job creation. Now, content is another gold. I don't have time, so at least it's self-explanatory. Number 2, broadcasting digital media and local content provision to stimulate local artistic productions. Okay. Thank you very much.
And Rexuma represents the NDC. Now, we're just about getting into the second round, where we get to ask them all the right questions right here. It's the Showbiz Round Table Manifesto debate on creative economy. And this is what we are doing to help project the creative arts industry. This is an industry that is actually projecting the economy of this country. Globally, this industry actually gives 3.1% to the global GDP. And for Ghana, we are yet to have the correct figures of how much we get from the creative economy alone. regardless of how far we've worked as a people. Showbiz Round Table, the 5th edition, is the Manifesto debate on creative economy, and this event is brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink, and you can reach us with your opinions, with your questions whatsoever. 055-11-11997 or 0551-575757. These are the WhatsApp lines to reach us on. We're going for a breather. When we come back, Q&A continues. Welcome back. Showbiz Roundtable 5th edition is the Manifesto debate on creative economy, and this is your election headquarters. We're still live on Joy Prime Television, live on Joy News and Joy 99.7 FM. If you have anything to ask us, your questions, your reservations, you can send them now on 055 1575757 or 055 1111997. And we're here till 6 p.m. We're here now to engage the two political parties on the various provisions in their manifestos. My name is Kwame Dazi. Now, before we even set the ball rolling, let me read through the ground rules again. Now, each party has 3 minutes to answer a question. You can decide to pass on the question to your co-speaker. That is fine. You have 3 minutes each, okay? Also, any form of clapping, commentary, or disruptive behavior during a speaker's presentation is strictly prohibited. Applause is only permitted after the presentation has fully concluded. Under no circumstances will interruptions, interjections, or unsolicited rebuttals be tolerated while a speaker is making their submission. All participants must allow speakers to present without interference. Speakers may call on co-speakers to assist in their submission, but only with approval from the moderator. Any attempt to circumvent this procedure will not be allowed. Personal attacks, insults, or slander directed at any individual involved in the debate or its organization will not be tolerated under any circumstances. Such behavior will result in immediate action by the organizers. And lastly, all questions from guests must be concise, fact-based, and delivered respectfully. Any question that includes personal attacks, insinuations, or impoliteness will be dismissed without consideration. Still here, Manifesto debate on creative economy. Now, to the questions. So, as people who seek to hold the mantle of governance after the next elections, and you want to fashion our policies for the creative economy, you must know the number of people that ply their trade in this space. So this is the opening question for both of you. And I will start with the NDC. Baba Sadiq, how many people ply their trade in the creative sector?
In the last report that was cited, Kellen from the National Identification Authority registrations, when you look at the top 10 professions that were listed there, when you put it together in that time in 2020, you are talking almost about it was talking a little over 1 million. Because at the time, when they rated the top 10 professions that had been registered, 3 or 4 out of them put together were all creative industry, culture, tourism-related jobs. So put together, if you're referring to that 2020 report, that should be a little over 1 million.
That is 4 years ago. Yeah. Honorable Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, we are in 2024. Do we have any current figures to show how many people ply their trade in the creative industry?
Not exact. It is not exact. It is so because it is difficult to use just 10 numbers to know data of people who practice in a particular trade, especially in our part of the world. And I am saying this because there are some sections of the creative industry that at the moment I'm not sure they have 10 numbers to be used. But that is why the Creative Arts Council started the process to put together data for the creative industry. Unfortunately, because it doesn't have full recruitment and because we didn't have clearance for the Creative Arts Agency Stroke Authority, it is still not done. It is still in the process. But again, data for every industry is a process. You can only talk about a particular time that it ends, but it will never finish till the end of time because the industry keeps new people come in, people still come in to apply new trade and all of that. So no one has exact number for the creative industry in terms of data. It's a process that is ongoing.
Are there any timelines that we should be looking forward to as in having the first one out?
The Creative Arts Agency's recruitment is starting this month. And so the moment they get ignition to begin to work in their office, I am sure give us by end of next year, end of 2025, give 1 + 2 to put together. I am sure we should be able to get something.
Okay, let me come to the NDC for your question now.
Is it possible to do a letter rebuttal?
A rebuttal.
Yeah.
30 seconds, please.
Well, for me, I mean, this is quite instructive and indicative of how the NPP has approached the enablement of the culture, art, and tourism industry. I mean, you cannot, for 8 years that you've been in government, not have an idea of the people that work within an industry that you are serious about enabling. You know, much less even have data that would enable you project. You continuously make excuses about the sector. You continuously make promises. 8 years down the line, you're still talking about recruitment. 3 months for you to leave power, you're still talking about recruitment for Creative Art Agency. Okay. This is not a serious government. And Bamia and the NPP certainly don't mean serious.
Thank you. Now, to the NDC.
Can
to the
we,
NDC.
Yes.
Please, any more rebuttals will be reserved for the cross-examination period. So you can note down whichever question you want to ask. When we get to that segment or that round, you have the chance to ask all these questions. Yes. So, and the Aging Artist Fund is one thing that you've promised that you're going to establish in your manifesto.
Right.
How are you going to fund this?
In our manifesto, we've indicated a couple of sources of funds. You would have noticed that we had indicated that we're going to review the tourism development levy to include other things that also drive tourism. It's one of the avenues of sources of funds that we're looking at. We've also spoken about the Creative Arts Fund, which is not existent, which has not been in existence, which the current government had paid lip service to continuously makes excuses to. These are but some of it. But we also indicated that when we spoke about the Media Development Fund, there's a particular part of it which is we're looking to be able to raise some bit of funds to support some of these initiatives. So these are like, but for us, 3 different avenues that we've identified. But beyond that, international corporations with organizations that are interested in using tourism, art, and culture to drive development, national development, are some of the avenues that we're looking to consider once we get into government.
Do you have any operational definition for who an aging artist is? Do you have that as of now?
An aging artist is one that has gone beyond their limelight years. When you look at it, certainly you look at it from the basis of the active consumers of their content or the creative content. Beyond that, there's a particular point where they become less appealing to the active consumers of creative content. In that instance, when they begin to phase out and age out in the industry, they need a certain level of support to be able to hold them down in society.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes, he can ask. He can ask because he's a co-speaker. Yeah.
It's like, just like a pension age. When any artist gets to the pension age, and that is what we consider as an aging artist. Secondly, based on the question you asked, it's not like government is going to pay all the premiums for creative people. So it's going to be like a tier 3 kind of thing. People will be encouraged, educated, to be able to contribute to their own pension schemes. A lot of the artists did not know, they didn't have financial education. So that's why we have it in our manifesto that they'll be trained in financial illiteracy and all these things. So they will be encouraged to also contribute to their own tier 3 pension. So by the time they grow up and get to 60 or pension age, they are sorted out.
Okay. Let me go to the NPP now. The NPP, you have promised to establish digital platforms. And we want to know which platforms are these specifically. Are they video platforms? Are they audio platforms? If you can throw some more light on that.
I thought I was going to get opportunity to talk about the pension before I come on mine. The question is different.
So what we want to do is, if you
yeah.
have any more rebuttals, we have a segment for that. You can just...
But he did one earlier on.
Yes, so kindly do that in 30 seconds.
So you have a change of mind?
30 seconds.
Okay. All right. Your question.
No, before he comes, before you...
But I can come now.
30 seconds.
We have already taken steps to fix the pension challenges. And I can assure my brother that this facade that we write to fix pension problems, as if Ghana is that rich that we have enough money to be paying pensions for people, where is the money going to come from? And that is why we have given the opportunity to the creative practitioners to meet almost all the top companies in insurance. And as at now that I'm talking to you, Musica has some package with SIC. I know FIPAC is also working with one of the insurance companies, because insurance is an individual thing. If we deceive the industry telling them that government will pay for you, who will pay the premium? If he can give us the calculation, and since he doesn't have data, how was he able to collect the numbers to prove that they can make that payment for the people in the industry?
Okay, thank you very much. Still here on Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News, Joy Prime Television. This is 5th edition of Showbiz Round Table, Manifesto Debates on Creative Economy. And we have the NDC and the NPP right here. They are answering to questions of policies in their manifestos. Now, to your question about the digital platform that you intend to establish. Yes. What type of platforms are there? If you can give us more detail on that.
Okay. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we all know he goes for digital anytime. 3 weeks ago, UK launched their drone for medication. We had done this since 2021. And so he believes in the way forward, and he believes that the way forward is digitization. And so we think of audio, we think of pictures or video, we think of products like fashion, the ecosystem of the art, anything that is sellable, a platform that could enable someone to sit here and sell to the world. That is the kind of platform we are looking at. We've gotten people, and if we say we are going to build, it is not public service 100% job. We'll partner the private sector to get this done. We've already gotten offers, and we are still scanning, we are still monitoring, because I've said this over and over, that the top companies in communication like MTN, Airtel, and the rest have tried. MTN Play, we've had Deezer, they've had their own challenges, and so we still need to monitor the market a bit further to see if it is still viable, and if the moment we get the green light, why not? We'll provide that with the private sector.
The MPP, in 2020, you promised the same digital platform. We are in 2024, and we've not seen anything of the sort. Why should we believe that you would do it this time around?
Because we believe that, I remember years ago, the first water that was produced in Ghana in bottle was called Aztec Insu. It was not successful because there was no market to make that business viable. Over time, we were in this country when Baltic came, when there was market that was ready to consume water in bottle. And that was how...
Are you suggesting as of 2020 there wasn't a market for these platforms?
I am telling you on authority that you can talk to the communications companies in this country why they have not done well with digital marketing of the art. You can find out.
So why then did you put that in your manifesto in 2020? Didn't you do any feasibility studies to know how feasible it was before you put it in your manifesto?
Manifestos are not cast in stone. Year of return is not in any manifesto, but we see the success. And so when you dream, you have a vision to put something together, the drive, you put it now, and then as you go, things change. What is relevant today could be relevant tomorrow. And it doesn't mean that the fact that you have in your manifesto, it means it's cast in stone, you must do it because you have promised. You still must monitor environment, whether micro, macro, and take your decisions.
Okay, Akwesi Agyemang.
It indicates...
Could you please rise to the lectern?
Okay. So our flag bearer in the last engagements with the media indicated that it's not everything that is in our manifesto that has been done. He scored about 80% of the work has been done. So the fact that it was in the manifesto prior and has not been done doesn't mean it cannot be done. So you can clearly see from the work that has gone in terms of creating the enabling environment and building the platform that this is a time that we want to do that. Also, back to the issue of the aging. I mean, in the NPP manifesto, we talk about the Aging Act. So that will take care of not just people within the creative sector, but every aged person will be covered under the Aging Act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me come to the NDC, your major question now.
Quickly rebut on that, and then we can...
30 seconds,
please. I think the NPP needs to be told plainly that excuses simply don't build business or don't enable businesses. This particular promise was not only in 2020. This promise was also in 2016. 8 years after the fact, we are not yet again experiencing another excuse of it. I mean, in 2020, they gave us the same explanation about, oh, we're checking the feasibilities of it and everything. Look, I don't think the NPP government, and Baumia for that matter, really consider the culture, art, and tourism industry as a very important driver of national development. I think they failed on that, and going forward, these excuses shouldn't be tolerated by industry.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, most creatives in this industry, they work almost every time, 24 hours. Those who record in the studios, those who film and all that. How do you tie in the work of the creatives into the 24-hour economy?
So there are different aspects of it. There are some organizations that operate and service the sector. I mean, in the last few months, Bloomba, one of the very popular nightclubs that had operated in the last 4 years, operated down well, had to fold up. One of the reasons they had to fold up was rising cost of operations, and this is about, and also because initially they were operating only in the night. I mean, engaging in nighttime activity. Then after a while, they saw the potential of having, opening up for morning, for breakfast or for meetings, and also opening up during the afternoon as well as the nighttime activity they wanted to engage in. The rising cost of operations pushed them out of business. What we are saying to such individuals that are operating within the sector, because we know how Bloomba as an organization continues to be an avenue for activated music, for avenue for performances, for avenue for cultural expressions, and particularly in months such as December, when people are coming into town, if they form a very important part of the content that assets our position as a holiday maker spot in Ghana. So what we are saying to such organizations is that, look, if you decide to operate around the clock, 24 hours, we're looking to give you certain incentives that would make the cost of operations a little bit easier for you to enable you to operate. In such instances that you won't have the likes of Bloomberg getting out of business. So we're saying to them that if you agree to come on board on the 24-hour service, 24-hour economy policy, in the morning where you're going to be ordinarily be charged the same cost for instance, utilities, we are going to either waiver it or reduce it for you. In the afternoon, the same thing. And then in the evening where you operate your nighttime activity, then we can consider charging you the regular fees. These are about some of the things that we think will continue to keep the likes of Bloomba in business and to continue to make them an avenue for cultural expressions and to continue to be part of the total elements that we have in the country that assets our position as a holiday maker spot.
Okay, you can, quickly.
When we talk about creative economy, we should not zero it into...
You please rise to the lectern.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we talk about the creative economy, we shouldn't zero into only music. People don't know that in this country, there are fashion firms that have 5,000 people. They are just sewing for export. So these are the areas that will also focus. So if they were supposed to do 7 to 5 job, we are encouraging them that they should do a 24-hour economy so that they can have 3 people doing 3 shifts so as to be able to produce more and then export more. So when you zero it into only music, then it is wrong. For example, filmmaking. Here we are saying that we want to produce more films for export and to also feed our market. So if we are encouraging the film producers, I mean the soap operas that they are doing, if they are showing something every day, okay. You see some of these Filipinos, every day they are on set producing for consumption. So we are going to enabling this aspect of the creative economy for more people to get jobs, and that is what we intend doing.
Thank you.
You can.
Please, kindly note your question so that when we get to the 3rd round, we do all those.
He might not remember Filipinos shooting movies.
Kindly note that down. Kindly note that down, please. Kindly note that down. Thank you very much. Still right here, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News, Joy Prime Television. We're live also across our social media handles. Now, NPP, to your question, kindly explain to us what the travel protocol service entails.
Okay. Generally, diplomatic passports and service passports are given to people who governments have sent to do particular projects for them. And when you have a diplomatic passport, there is a degree to which you can explain that. There's something called full powers. It means the government has given you full powers to represent the country elsewhere. And so we are going to use one relationship, international relations between Ghana and some of the other countries that have their embassies here. I think in the presentation that my brother Akwesi Agyeman did, he mentioned that. And then we're going to use our diplomatic passports and service passports. If we believe in the person going to perform out there, we believe that we can trust you and you are going to do something in the name of Ghana, why not? We'll do that. So you have that to go.
And is this for every creative?
And also, I think we need to be quite clear. This is not something that is already not being done. There are protocol services that are offered. I mean, there are people who, when you go to destinations, for example, if you're an artist and you go to London, you have the opportunity to call on the embassy in London to offer you services. So it's not necessarily visas. When you're getting there, the embassies will be aligned with the vision of travel protocol service. So when we talk about travel protocol services, it's not just visas. We're talking about when you get into the destination, transportation, local transportation, making sure that you can meet people in authority. There's also something called the note verbal, which is reserved currently for public workers. So, for example, if somebody works in the public service or civil service and is traveling on behalf of government to, not necessarily on behalf of government, going for a program that can be represented as an official government delegation, you qualify for a note verbal under the Foreign Affairs Act, Foreign Services Act. So that is the kind of service that we want to provide so that people who are going to perform, for example, there's Independence Day performance at the Ghana Embassy in the UK, and somebody like, say, Sarkodie has to go and perform. Does he have to go through the sort of hustle that he goes through? Because when you go to the embassy, they will say that he's not a public servant. But if we have it under a non-verbal arrangement through a travel protocol service, then he can be given a visa, or in the case, a service passport to go and perform and then come back. When he gets there, he gets the protocol services offered by the embassy who are there representing Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MPP. Now, NDC, your question. And you have also promised to enhance the copyright system. And this one, to you, Rex Omar, you've been at the helm of affairs at GAMRO. And why haven't you been able to fix at least for the music rights owners? And as of now, are there any challenges? Why do you want to be in power before you move that particular aspect of your industry?
Thank you very much. 21st January 2016, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama actually passed the IP policy of Ghana. Right now, the issue of collective management organizations is not about the organizations themselves. It is about the enforcement of music users paying for what is right. But the question is, there is no law that stipulates how much any music user, i.e. media houses, must pay based on duration. That is the issue. So for example, if multimedia has played 100,000 minutes, you cannot come here and say, because you've played 100,000 minutes, pay such an amount times 100,000 minutes. So we are using flat rate. And we are saying that when the NDC comes to power, we will come out with a legislation to be clear as to how much a music user must pay. That's how it happens all over the world. How much, the tariff, how much must somebody pay for music usage? So that at the end of the day, if Kwame does this music is played for 1,000 minutes, I come to the multimedia, it is shown that you played, your frequency played 1,000 minutes of Sarkodie's song, and each minute is 1 peso. So that is how much you are owing us. This is what we don't have now, and this is what NDC government will.
And this is just Gambro. There are other CMOs.
There are other CMOs
like
ASOC
and Copy
Ghana.
Ghana.
So it will be across board.
As in what? Explain that.
So, for example, if you watch audiovisual, it comes with both visuals and sound. So I may be the owner of the music, and somebody may be the owner of the pictures. So you see, ASOC going to hotels to ask for payment. Gambro going to hotels to ask for payment. There's going to be a synergy. But the whole thing will be a tariff. If you play music or movie, this is how much. If it's audiovisual, this is how much you pay per minute. If it's only audio, this is how much you pay for a minute. So that it is clear-cut that when you use music, this is how much you pay.
Have you done the same for Copy Ghana?
Copy Ghana is literal work, of course. The same thing. Because if you go to the universities, they copy freely. And somebody has written his book, whether it's for educational purpose or whatever it is, somebody just pick it and do photocopy, and they are going with it. So it is going to be across board. We will interact with the operationals themselves, whether the practitioners themselves, and come out with a tariff. That is how it is done all over the world, and Ghana will do same.
Thank you very much. Now to the NPP.
Just to add up a bit, to it. Macarex is right. I mean, in more matured creative industry markets, for copyright, you're supposed to set up fees, and be able to use that to be able to calculate and get equitable, payment, and so you can equitably distribute. That also helps in distributing. Now, the copyright, we as a party, we are beginning to see collection or CMOs more like public financial management organizations, because public financial management organizations need to go to parliament to be able to, and work with the Ministry of Finance to be able to set up fees or costs that now can be applied to these airplays or these
Thank you,
airtimes.
NDC. Your time
so
is
we
up.
can chase some of these payments and then be able to pay it up.
Okay, I want us to watch this video of the amphitheater that is being constructed in Accra. And so, yes, this amphitheater is one of the 5 that have been promised by the government. And we've seen some pictures of the Kumasi amphitheater being constructed. We've seen pictures of the Accra being constructed. We were there 10 days ago. We were actually at the Accra amphitheater 10 days ago to take footage of the one under construction. And I want us to take a look at it before we ask the NPP any question about that. Still right here on Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News, and Joy Prime Television. This is the Manifesto debate on creative economy. So playing now is the amphitheater. Yes, playing now is the amphitheater in Accra. And that is what you can see in your shots. This is the amphitheater in Accra. It's one of the 5 that have been promised the creative industry. So you can see that in your shots. Honorable Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mark Okreku Mante. And this is what we went to see 10 days ago. And this was promised to us sometime last year. Why have we still not completed the construction, sir?
Predominantly, it has a lot to do with budget, because this is funded by the World Bank. And so we're supposed to get additional funding to finish. It has delayed, but the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture went to Parliament to defend and said that we should give him up to Q1 2025. It will be ready. Internally, we know we want to finish before December, but for the sake of Parliament, he mentioned Q1 next year.
Okay, I remember so well, sometime last year when you cut the sort for the Kumasi Amphitheater, you were in the studio of Love FM, and I remember you said the money was ready. You had about $500,000 for around $500,000 for each of them. Are you telling Ghanaians that that money did not suffice for the construction?
Come again.
Are you telling us that that money wasn't enough for the construction? The money you mentioned during the interview,
The
$500,000, dollars. You gave an estimate.
Question is not clear.
Per theatre.
Okay, so you gave an estimate during the interview with the Love FM interviewer.
Yes,
and he asked, how much it would cost, roughly.
Yes.
And you mentioned it would cost around 500,000 for each of them. And I'm asking if you were telling us that it wasn't enough, it didn't suffice for the construction.
The budget increased because of market prices. And so the budget increased, and so it affected how the plan that we had to finish the amphitheater, and that is why it is going to take us some time to finish. And so we've made a request for additional funding. It's in the process. The moment we get it, in the next 2 weeks, I'm sure some money should come in. We'll go back to site.
Okay, because when I went to the site, I met a gentleman who stayed just behind the amphitheater under construction. And he told me since December, after December last year, he's not seen anybody on site working. So has the work stalled for all this while?
That cannot be true.
Okay.
Yes, that cannot be true. That after December last year,
yes,
no one has been there.
Yes.
That cannot be true, but I'll find out, yeah.
If you look at the picture that you showed, clearly, because cement that is not even as dry as you want to say it's 10 months or so. So the point that is being made is that the project is still a live project. If you went there and there was no work being done or no work had been done, then you have a point. And I think let's understand the public space. I mean, projects sometimes encounter issues. It could be funding, it could be even procurement, it could be issues of the contractor not delivering on time and all that. And so everywhere you go, all these 5 that have been promised, I think is part of the Ghana Tourism Development Project that was a project funded under the World Bank program. And so it will be done. It has not been completed, but it will be done.
Thank you very much. To the NDC now.
A quick better.
30 minutes. 30 seconds, please.
Okay. Let me repeat.
Okay.
Let me repeat.
Okay, you are not allowed to
Let me
rebut.
repeat. No, I'm
Please
not asking
write
a
it.
question. I'm just
Please write it
repeating.
down.
I'm not asking a
Please
question.
write it down. Now to your question.
Good.
The NDC, with regards to reviving the Creative Arts Fund, you have promised in your manifesto that you are going to revive the Creative Arts Fund. And this is a fund that has not been established yet. How are you going to revive something that is non-existent?
In actual fact, there's a background to it. What preceded what is becoming the Creative Industry Bill and the Act was the creation of the Creative Arts Council, which is an amalgamation of different organizations that had come together. And during that particular period, the NDC had given out a fund for industry, which was channeled through the culture forum, to also be given to industry, for the benefit of industry. So that was the concept behind the Creative Industry Bill. That was the idea behind how we intended to enable the industry. In fact, and if you ask, and if the NPP will be objective about it, they'll tell you that the precursor, the draft document they inherited was actually what they worked on to now become the Creative Industry Bill, which was assented by the president. But as it stands now, and since it became the act, the critical airline that needs to be laid in Parliament to ensure the operationalization of the Creative Industry Creative Art Agency and the fund has not been done. We don't think that there's been any seriousness attached to this because it barely takes 21 days.
There is no fund.
When you lay, yes, there's no fund, but I'm giving the background. We didn't do this respectfully.
Please continue.
We're saying that I gave you a very good background where I said to you that there was existence of the Creative Arts Council, which is an amalgamation of different organizations in the industry.
And that turned into the agency later on.
Yes. But at that period, we had the fund component. If you remember the 2 million that was given
but
to
was the fund set as of that time?
Yes.
Set?
If we set aside, no.
Okay, please.
You can rebut when I'm done.
Please, the Act 1048 stipulates how the fund should
you can rebut when I'm done.
And as of now, it's not been.
We are saying to you that is the background we're coming with, where we had a fund set aside that was channeled through the Cultural Forum for the benefit of industry. And so we're saying that if the NPP government had actually even continued that, we perhaps today may have had the fund. But for us, we're saying that since that particular thing was truncated, we are looking to revive that process. Thankfully now, the industry bill had been passed, and so there's a need for us to work to lay an ally to ensure that the fund comes into existence for the benefit of industry. This is the background we come with when we say revive the fund.
Okay.
But I'm glad about one thing today. The NPP has never admitted that the Creative Arts Fund has never been in existence. They keep playing words in and around it. Today, the GTA boss and the deputy minister are up here trying to confirm that there is no fund.
I know they have rebuttals, but I'm very glad. I also understand that they are going to write them down so that when we get to the cross-examination section, you can ask all those questions. Now, let me ask you this question, Honorable Deputy Minister. So you promised to build a convention center at the Trade Fair site. Can you give us any update on that?
It has started.
Started?
Yes, it has started. Fundamentals are all in place. I mean, if you watch the documentary, the video we showed, it was in there. It has started.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have been there personally, and it's at foundation level.
Yes. It's the most expensive part of
what time are we looking forward to seeing it established fully?
I think that's a prefab concept.
Yes, it's a prefab.
And so the hard work is actually with the foundation. And so when the foundation is done, I'm sure with the prefab, if we all understand the concept of prefab, it is a building made somewhere and they just bring it to fix on top of the foundation. And so it's not going to take too much time. But I'm not in a position to give you timelines because the project is under Ministry of Trade.
Wow. Okay, thank you. NDC, you've promised to help book publishers.
Yes,
okay.
Addenda.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I think just to point out the fact that the entire redevelopment of the Ghana Trade Fair Center is part of the strategy to make Ghana the MICE destination, MICE hub in West Africa. And I'm happy that you've confirmed that you've gone there and there's work ongoing. But let's also state for the records that when you're doing a prefab, sometimes when you go to the site, what you see is actual the foundation work being done there, because the rest of the work doesn't happen on site, it's done somewhere and brought. So it's on course. Thank you.
Thank you, NDC. How are you going to help book publishers if you come to power?
Okay, so we have indicated that publishing is expensive. Publishing requires money. Writing has been discouraged also because of the lack of investment for people that are looking for the initial support to be able to start off. This and more reasons are what is underpinning our intention to revive and bring into existence the Creative Arts Fund to ensure that publishers that also intend to be able to access some of this fund to start off will be able to access it. Most importantly, we would also obviously use organizations or ministries and departments such as the Ministry of Education to be able to work a lot more and subscribe a lot more to local Ghanaian publishers to enable them build capacity and enable them grow. So this is our intentions of how to enable the Ghanaian publishing space.
Thank you very much. Now to the NPP.
Can I rebut now?
Please, let's do that during the cross-examination. We have a lot of time to do that,
Well, actually, I've published a book. I wanted to give him a copy. So that publishing is not that
Thank
difficult.
you very much.
Please do that.
All right, thank you very much. Now to the NPP.
Thank you.
Since last year, one policy, one idea you actually dreamt home was to bring what we call the funeral tourism. There was one idea that you championed so greatly. We didn't see that in the manifesto. Is this something that you've actually jettisoned?
Is it in the manifesto?
No, it's not in the manifesto.
It is not. I'm asking if it's something that he still holds on to.
Yes.
Can I?
Yes. I still believe in funeral tourism. In the month that we discussed funeral tourism as a topic when it went viral, I remember telling the whole Ghana that one of the most popular tourist sites in Japan was their cemetery because it is the biggest. And so when it comes to tourism, it is the prerogative of you, the person who wants to sell a product, to identify a product that you have a story to tell, that could attract somebody to want to travel to and have a purchase or watch or whatever, spend time and have experience with the product. And so we are saying that Ghanaians already travel. We travel for funerals anyway. And so why don't we add tourism to it? I still believe in it any day, any time. It is not in the manifesto because it is not everything that comes in the manifesto.
Okay, Mr. Ajima, any?
Just to add to that, I think if you look at the definition of who a tourist is by the UN Tourism, anybody who is traveling outside his normal place of abode to another place for a period not more than a year. And so when you travel to a funeral in, let's say, the Volta region or in the Tamale, you don't consider yourself as a tourist, but really you are touring because you consume a hotel. You might stay in a hotel, which is part of the tourism industry. You buy food in a restaurant or a chop bar, which is licensed by the distance. So I think the whole idea was that if you take, for example, Kumasi, Ashanti region, the value chain of funerals is something that is tourism. Music, cultural troops performing, spinners, sound engineers, they are all parts of the transport services. And so what the ministry was saying at that time is that let's try and see how we can leverage what is already happening. When I lost my mom, Honorable Mark had never traveled to that part of town before in Dunkonof. He got there. It's a journey. But that journey, you consume tourism on your way. So that is the whole concept of funeral tourism. The fact that it's something that will allow you to consume tourism products. And then if there's opportunity for you to also visit tourist sites and attractions, all the better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just
Thank you.
1 minute?
Can Lee write it
One
down?
second, please.
Can Lee do that?
Okay.
Can Lee do that? Baba Sadiq, the NDC, you also promised in your manifesto that you intend to partner with stakeholders to diversify tourism offerings to include medical tourism, educational tourism, religious tourism, culinary tourism, agro-tourism, cultural tourism, and sports tourism, among others. How do you diversify this? How are you going to do that?
Well, these are concepts that have already existed. If you remember, or if you cast your mind back when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was earlier speaking about the establishment of the Rage Hospital, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, for instance, one of the things he was emphatic on was that it was going to also help to drive health tourism and also make Ghana a hub for health tourism. In actual fact, and if you go to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that particular investment in that particular infrastructure has more than enabled health tourism. These are but some of the ways that we intend to be able to drive what's it called, health medical tourism within the country. Already in the Big Push agenda, there's a number of initiatives that have been promised relative to that, relative to establishing an infrastructure that would continuously make Ghana a medical tourism spot. The UGMC continues to perform that creditably. Rage Hospital does that. When the others that are done eventually and brought on stream, this will more than improve and enhance our medical tourism potentials.
Okay.
So these are but some of the ways that we intend to do this.
Okay. Let me come to Honorable Makokreko Mante. This is a general question I'm asking the both parties, actually. So artificial intelligence has become a big part of our creative industry, and it's become a big topic in areas of intellectual property and human resource, especially in the cultural and creative industries. What plans do you have to make sure industry folks integrate better into this new normal?
I think that generally, because our environment, if I say our environment, the NPP's environment that it wants to create is a smart city. If you listen to what Dr. Bawumia says in his speeches everywhere, the concept is to make Accra especially a smart city. And so if you think digital, automatically moving forward, AI comes to mind. Those of us in the arts, especially music, lately I see that people get their music created with AI. Very soon some of the sound engineers are going to go out of job. And so it is about time people must learn fast. The digitization center that we have in Ghana must also sensitize people. The schools must make sure that the AI concept gets into our DNA so that we don't often become reactive. Most of the time, the people in here who have done music and film will tell you that the industries have suffered because we are often reactive. When the technology becomes outmoded or obsolete, that is when you see the creative industry chasing the technology. And so this time, we must make sure that, especially with the Creative Arts School, they must be in line. By the time that they are through, they must be ready to compete because the AI is a global product. So if you delay, you might end up getting out of business.
Okay, so how do you integrate that into the copyright system? Does this mean that we need to maybe amend our copyright laws?
The copyright law already, I know that they are taking steps to amend because it has become outmoded. The revenues that they make already now, it has dwindled because it was made to collect revenues from customers with CDs and cassettes at the time that the law was made. At the moment, nobody plays CD, nobody uses cassettes. So we must go back and change it to the new ways that, because the concept was that people were using creative works illegally. So why don't we tax them to compensate the owners of the product? And so now that the cassettes and the CDs are outmoded, we need to go back and change the law to pen drives and computers or tabs and all of that, phones.
Thank you very much. Baba Sadiq, same question.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I've always maintained, digital transformation is not an achievement. I mean, the NPP and Bawumia continuously to tout themselves, digital digitalization and all of those things that they keep saying. Look, digital transformation is where the world is headed. It is not a product of somebody's, what do you call it, active or somebody's role to do anything. It is where the world is headed. When we transitioned from cassette and we came to pen drives, when we transitioned from pen drives to come to digital streaming, did the NPP or Bawumia do anything intentional for us to transition to music streaming or get into audiovisual streaming? So digital transformation is where the world is headed. It is not something that you do to do whatever. In any case, the party that continues to tax, platforms such as, Spotify and services and all of those things, impacting that revenue line for talent in the industry, continues to make noise about digital. It is not what they're looking for. But what we are saying, like I said earlier, yes, I agree that the Copyright Act as it exists needs to be updated. It's not fit for purpose currently. And in the updating, like we said, we want to connect it to the national IP policy we launched in 2016 to make it, to connect to all the international protocols and charters relative to copyright, and in terms of bring it down to help us in executions, bring it down to help us to be able to effectively track, effectively collect, and equitably distribute to deserving talent or individuals who are supposed to enjoy those benefits. And in so doing, AI and employing digital tools are things or some of the ways that we'll be able to do that. In fact, if you go back, the NPP one more time in 2016 promised a digital platform to help enable collective management organizations to collect. On top of that, they added the Creative Art Court. In 2020, they repeated it. I am actually scandalized today, just almost 86 to 87 days that the NPP is about to exit government, where they are one more time talking about digital. So let me repeat it to them, like I said to them. Excuses don't enable industry. Foresight, vision, proper understanding of the various different industries, and the strong political will to enable these industries is what enable industry. It's not excuses and just touting where the world is headed to say that this is what you want to do.
Okay, thank you very much. Still on digital platforms, both of you have promised something on digital platforms. Now, how do you regulate the space? Because in certain countries, you can't even access porn sites and betting sites. But we are here in this country where almost everything is available for everybody to see on the digital space. If you are given power, the chance to come to power again, what plans do you have in regulating the digital space?
I think that relatively, it's a new space for us, let's accept. I do not want to touch on what Sadiq said, but to say that digitization is the way forward and to everybody, it's a default. It's not like somebody's doing it. The first time I heard ICT came from one man called J. Kufuor. He said ICT, ICT, ICT. Before J. Kufuor, tell me if we knew ICT in this country.
We had it. We knew Y2K.
and so
it's where the world is headed.
and the response says it all.
It is where the world is headed.
Continue, please.
Yes. And so the Ministry of Tourism, it is not our core mandate. Some of these questions are not core mandates of the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture. Unfortunately, it is a ministry that is like octopus. Tourism is everything. Culture is everything, depending on what you want to do with it. And so some of these questions come to us. And so we'll liaise with the Ministry of Communication and make sure that the right things are done. I agree that in the West, they are now making strong laws around things like bullying online and all of that. We do not have that, like what China has. But I think it's about time we also took steps to manage some of these things. I know Elon Musk is also going through a lot because of some of these things. And so, yes, we'll liaise with the Ministry of Communication and fix some of these challenges.
Okay, last question before we go on a break for the next round.
That, look,
last question.
On digital,
Sadiq,
on to God. Let me just come in. Let me just come on. It's not a question. It's not a question. It's not a question. It's not a question. I'm actually responding to it. It is not a question. What I'm saying to you is that
Baba Sadiq, your question. Baba Sadiq, please, your question. Your question. In 2020, you promised to rehabilitate cultural centers across the country. Did you do that?
In 2020?
In 2012, sorry.
You mean in 2020?
In your manifesto in 2012, your party promised to rehabilitate the cultural centers across the country. Did you do that? And I can read it.
No. None of
Commence the rehabilitation of abandoned regional cultural centers of national culture and establish district centers of national culture. Were you able to do that?
Well, we haven't been able to. We haven't able to do that prior to leaving.
But you have promised that you'll be doing that if you are given power again.
Yes. So
why should we believe you?
Of course. I mean, like I said, when it comes to speaking about infrastructure or doing anything to enable any industry via infrastructure, was that one party that has the blueprint, that understands how to be able to do that and find the right finding to it, is the NDC. We are saying that we're looking to bank on the experience of an experienced driver that has been there before, that has done it before, to be able to do this. In fact, further to that, this is the first time an incoming president is launching an ambitious infrastructure plan with a big push agenda. And all of these things is also connected to it, so as we'll be able to do some of these things which are needed to be able to drive industrial and cultural products.
Quickly, yes, sir.
And in any case, these cultural centers of cultural, we built all of them.
Yeah, we built all the 10.
We built all of them.
We built the 10.
The cultural centers, yes.
Oh, during the reign of what's it called? Our Secretary of Culture, Ben Abdallah.
Ben Abdallah's time.
Yeah, we built all during that period.
NDC.
Oh, no, it's a process.
Okay.
It's a process.
Okay.
Of
Please
course.
make your point. Please make your point.
The hall. No.
Please make your point.
No. Listen. The hall.
Okay. Still right here, Manifesto debates on creative economy. And this is the 5th edition of Showbiz Round Table, coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM. We're live on Joy News, Joy Prime Television. If you have any questions, you can send them through now, 05515 7575, 05515 757, and then 055 11 997. We left with one more question for the MPP to balance everything before we go for the next. Please, let's move on to the next question. Okay, we're going for a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Showbiz Roundtable 5th edition, Manifesto debates on creative economy, and we have given the platform to the various political parties, NDC, NPP, to explain to us their provisions for the creative industry in their manifesto. And we've done the second round, which is the Q&A. We just about get it into the cross-examination. But before that, before we went on a break, we were to ask the MPP their last question, because we started with NDC. And so we need to clear that question before we go on to this third segment. So there is a video that I want us to take a look at. If it is ready, let's go.
Paragraph 1781, Honorable Yusuf.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, the infraction relates to the renovation of the National Theatre. What is the state of it as we speak in terms of its renovation?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. It is good that the parliamentarians are asking this question, because originally we wanted to get support from the Chinese government. because they built the National Theatre for us, especially to do with technology. It's been so many years, and so some of the technology there are outmoded, and getting them from other countries was also difficult. And so it's been back and forth because they keep changing the ambassador and all of that. So we are still pursuing with the Chinese embassy. But if Ghana government would also help, I think it will be prudent in terms of budget to fix the National Theatre.
Minister, you are the deputy minister.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
And you are saying if you think if Ghana government can help, you should be the one with your ministry proposing to the president, okay, that is what you think should be done. So it's not for us here to tell you how that thing should be done. That's why you've been appointed as a deputy minister to help your minister to get this done. But the truth of the matter is that it's also as a result of lack of maintenance. That is why we've gotten to this level. Do you agree with me? And what maintenance regime have we put in place so that at least what we have wouldn't fall on us?
Generally, I think that they've done their bit as National Theatre to maintain the place. If you look at the number of years National Theatre has been in existence, if they hadn't done some work to maintain it, it wouldn't have been the way it is now. It is relative.
Okay, so this is an excerpt of Honorable Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mark Kwekumante's submission when he made the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament exactly a month ago, August 14, 2024. And Honorable, if I may ask, is the renovation of the National Theatre a Chinese problem or a financial problem?
It is a financial problem. The Chinese, I mentioned that especially technology. But when it comes to brick and mortar, it cannot be the Chinese problem. The challenge with the National Theatre is the law. The law was made such that they don't see themselves as a commercial entity. They see themselves as they must operate, propagate our culture and all of that, but not to make money. And so National Theatre does not have a marketing department. So for a business or an organization like National Theatre to operate, because you need to advertise the product you are going to showcase over a weekend or during the week. And so if it's not advertised, if it's not sold to people, how do you get people to come and watch and then you make money? National Theatre's law says that if you are not a theater person, you cannot lead, you cannot manage the National Theatre. All these things, I think, must be fixed so that the mindset of National Theatre, the DNA, can change and they must begin to see themselves as an entity that must make money, that must make profit. Then it will help in increasing their revenues to be able to maintain the place without government subvention. Because at the moment, they live 100%, salaries are paid by government, all of that. But their DNA is not to make profit. And so, And so we have we've made some steps. We have some new air conditioners in there. Some of them are fixed.
Purchased by the ministry or
yes,
the government?
Government, yes. GOG.
So it means governments can come in to help anyways?
Of course. Of course. All these years that they've been operating, the maintenance have always been government.
So does it mean that if we have the money now, it doesn't matter who is in office as Chinese ambassador, we can still fix the National Theatre?
No, you are mixing the two.
You're mixing the two.
Yes, you're mixing the two. I mentioned the Chinese as we needed them to help us with technology because if you know about technology, something that was built, say, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, today finding spare parts could be difficult. And if you know how they operate as Chinese over the years, they were not that open to other markets like now, how you see China. And so some of the things that were used to build the National Theatre, you cannot find them now on the market. And so because we are not getting that, we are saying that let's find plan B. The plan B is that if it is not working, throw it away, get a new one. That is new. That can help us fix the National Theatre. Okay. That's all.
So you say steps are being taken?
Yes.
Okay, so do we have any timelines?
The timelines to fix it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he said. For example, the air conditioner, one of the major problems.
I have seen the air conditioners.
You've seen the air conditioners, so air conditioners was one problem.
They've not been fixed yet.
Where did you see it? If they haven't, where did you see it?
All right.
I don't know. You say you saw air conditioners and they have not been fixed.
I've seen
So where did you
them
see it?
at the National Theatre. They've
Where
not
did
been
you see it?
fixed.
When? When did you see it?
Just about a month or two ago. I was there personally too. All right.
All right. So, but let me
Okay.
let me
information.
get into it a bit, please. You see,
All right.
the fittings and fixtures of the National Theatre was done by the Chinese. And so when you want to change, you want to see that, for example, these lights, I want the parts. Those parts, you can't just go onto the market and buy it because it's not available.
Okay.
So that is the reason why he had indicated that we are engaging with the Chinese to come in and fix. But that being said, when you talk about the National Theatre of Ghana, it's not just the building. Let's get this clear. National Theatre of Ghana has other support agencies under it. Ebibi Groma is one of them. The Ghana Dance Ensemble, the Symphony Orchestra, and all those things. So all these things are playing a pivotal role. They are not necessarily commercial in nature, but the building is one aspect of the National Theatre. So if you look at the building itself, 32 years ago, that's when the building was built.
Okay.
And there has been maintenance over the years by GOG. But now you need a major rehabilitation because any building anywhere, 32 years after, when was the Parliament of Ghana built? But look at the sort of rehabilitation it has gone through.
All right.
And so that's what we are talking about.
Thank you very much.
Let's try and provide the funding through GOG.
Thank
now,
you
and government
very
has
much,
done
Mr. Kwesi Hajiman and Honorable Deputy Minister Mark Okreku-Mante. Still right here on Showbiz Round Table 5th edition, Manifesto debate on creative economy. We have the NDC and the NPP telling us what they want to do for the creative industry if voted into power on December 7th. Now we get into the cross-examination. So if you have any questions, this is the time for you to do that. If you're watching us and you want to ask a question, 055 157 5757 or 055 1111 997. Now the NDC, if you have any question, you can do it right now.
Look, Kwame, you remember when I said to you that digital transformation is where the world is headed? And then the Honorable Deputy Minister said that he heard Y2K for the first time from President Kufuor's government. ICT. Technology is part of ICT, no problem. But here we are, they are confirming to us that as far back as 1992, there existed something called technology. Look, this government has run out of ideas. The motorway was established by what? Russians? Today, the government has announced, again, one more lip service that they are going to, what? I'm coming. Let me just, look. When there's a strong political will to do that, and there's I'm coming. When there's a strong political will to do that, you will do it. This same government, when it came to procurement fraud, they found money to put into that hole at the national criteria. In fact, one of the associates of the family and friends, the architect, Ajayi, when it was necessary for them to find money, they find over $300 million in various different procurement contracts for him. Today, the National Theatre, a very important edifice that has been at the core of sustaining industry. Today, the likes of Charterhouse, Multimedia, and Co. couldn't have been sustained without some of the activities that they did at National Theatre. So it tells you how important it is. This government is telling us they can't find that money. Meanwhile, in the last few weeks, one of the things we know internally in the government, they've been going back and forth with, is an issue of a $5 million that they are going to give to a younger relative of the president for Global Citizen. And that has been the thing. Yep. They keep paying lip service to industry. And that's the point that I've always made. Excuses don't build industry. Where is the political will? Where is the strong political will? Where is the foresight? Where is the vision and an understanding of industry to enable it with investment? Today, you're saying to us that unless you get to the Chinese, you will not be able to revamp the National Theatre. Beyond that,
he's landed. He will come.
Beyond that, you're telling us that without the Chinese, the Chinese, you cannot revamp the National Theatre. Again, another excuse. Okay, another excuse they give is that yes, if you're an industry person that will actually ascend to a particular, we are all industry people. You build capacity to ascend. I was a creative. I started from being a creative producer, copywriter, till a point when I became a CEO. You would have to build your capacity to be able to gain that. What qualifications do they look at some of these to before appointed? Besides,
okay, Sadiq,
you appoint a board to provide a
time is
strategic
up.
vision for the organization. Which board did you appoint? What was the
Let them
requirement for you
respond.
to appoint the board to provide that strategic vision that would ensure that the National Theatre
Your time is
continues
up.
to be
MPP,
an
you have the floor
important
now.
place in
The
history?
person who is managing the National Theatre of Ghana is somebody who has been at post prior to this government coming. So he was appointed by the government that he is accusing that they didn't look at.
Emmy?
Yes.
Emmy was
Yes.
a fresh-
Yes.
Emmy was a fresh appointment.
Can let him make
Emmy was a fresh appointment.
By who?
Wasn't the current board?
No.
Emmy was
I'm
not appointed as
asking you.
CEO.
Go and check.
Sadiq.
Emmy was not appointed as CEO during our
Okay,
time.
Sadiq, please, your mic is even off.
Sadiq,
Sadiq, your mic is even off.
I'm not saying she's not competent.
Mr.
I'm
Adiman,
saying
you can make your point.
She is a very competent person, appointed by you. But now you're denying her. So we take. Yes. But I'm just saying. You are saying that. But last
Sadiq,
week,
you are breaking the rules. No interjection,
Sadiq,
please.
Last week,
Let him finish.
Last week I was at the National Theatre. We had Uncle Ebo's play. It's going on. A few weeks ago, George Quay, one of your own, did a show there. So it's not that the National Theatre is not functioning. It's not a dead spot. There are things going on. And I'm also explaining to you that when you talk about the National Theatre of Ghana, the building is just one thing. And we are talking about rehabilitation of a building. You have gone to the place and seen air conditions. He hasn't seen it. Even if he sees it, he'll pretend he hasn't seen it. And that's typical Baba Sadiq. So please, let's try and be measured. That's why I said today it should be a conversation. Because we are talking about how do we move our industry forward. It doesn't mean that when you see something being done, a good thing being done. We were asked about the cultural centers that were in your manifesto in 2012. That you didn't do. Nobody has told you that you don't have ideas. Now, you went as far back to say that you built all the cultural centers in Ghana, including the 1951 one built by Kwame Nkrumah, that you are now appropriating to the NDC. You see, so we are not here to just talk. It's not about showmanship. We are here to deal with issues. For example, when you talked about, and I want to rebut this, because when you talk about the issue of data, and Mark said we don't have the complete number of people in the creative economy, it doesn't mean we don't have data. Since 2019, and I brought this report, 2019 tourism report, 2020 tourism report, 2021 tourism report, 2022 tourism report, 2023 tourism report. We've been consistently
for tourism,
but let me
figures, but for the creative arts itself,
and that is what he tried to
yes.
explain.
Yes.
That when you talk about the creative arts, it's such a broad spectrum that because we have not formalized it. So one of the things that he did under the Creative Arts Agency was to go and collect data collection. I remember they went around the country to try and get all the people within the data, but that exercise didn't complete. You are quoting a figure that you haven't gotten from anywhere, but from what do you call it? The registration on the Ghana card. And he said it's not everybody who is in that. So he could have just repeated your figure. You said over 1 million. Over 1 million means what? It doesn't mean anything. But he said he doesn't want to repeat that because it's not all the people in the industry who have Ghana cards. So when you go to our center, for example, now, the person who may be doing the sculpting and all those things may not have a Ghana card, who will not be in that database. But it's such a broad spectrum. So somebody saying that doesn't mean it doesn't have the figures. I can tell you, if you take this, you go step by step, all the data is here, and reading this thing doesn't mean that anything. We want to have a conversation, and a straight conversation about how we can build it in the industry.
All right.
When you say you compare motorway to technology, then it's laughable.
Thank you very much. Your time is
It's
up.
laughable.
So this is your rebuttal to his statement. They are now coming to ask the question. Is a question or a comment or a rebuttal? So they ask, if you have any rebuttal, you do it, you ask your question, and then also rebut. So please, if you have any question to ask them. Okay.
I do. My brother's in green. I want to find out. I've seen in your manifesto
Green Army.
that you say you are going to build culture villages. It's in your manifesto. And then I think in your presentation, I saw something like that. What would be the difference between culture village and the culture centers you claim you built?
Okay, NDC.
Okay, so I'm sure when they were reading when you look at some of the achievements, and particularly when you look at some of the places they cited for the World Bank Tourism Development Project, they cited the Gushewu Culture Village. Not so. Now, is the Gushewu Culture Village the same as the Culture Center in Tamale? Not so. Is the Culture Village on the way to Ebri the same as the Art Center or the Culture Village in Koforidua? No. So this is exactly what we are saying. Today, it keeps confirming to us that the people in charge of the tourism, art, and culture sector for the NPP do not understand industry. They don't know it. In the last few years, in fact, we started the process for the tourism development project funding for, from World Bank. But in 2018, it was approved. We started the process, we left government, they continued it. In 2018, it was approved. They cited part of the places that they were going to do. They cited Gushewu Koshema. So we are telling you, some of the things we want to be able to do is to have something like the likes of Gushewu.
Where is the culture village
in village?
The Koforidua Road that you just mentioned?
It's on the Brie Road.
Brie Road.
I'm
sure you know where I come
from. Yes, where they do the sculpturing, where they do the woodwork.
And it's called what?
That's a cultural village.
You tell me
that's a concept
village.
Of a cultural village.
Okay.
That's a cultural village.
It's a craft village.
It's a craft. What is a craft village?
So
what are they
everything qualifies to.
Okay.
What are they expressing? So this is so you see. This is the idea. We are saying that look, our Black Star experience is a very major blueprint idea. I'm coming. It's a very major blueprint idea for the future, to the point that we're looking for it to touch base with different sectors of the industry. And in the ways that I've cited, you can have as many other cultural villages within a particular period. We've seen examples of the Gushewu Cultural Village and then the Culture Center in Tamale. We've seen the one on the Brie Road, the Crafts and Village. We're looking to encourage a lot more of this, and we think that industry persons that are engaged in different aspects of industry could have a place where they do not only express culture, but most important, a commercial hub, a commercial center that would enhance the trade. We think that you cannot talk about Black Star experience without the commercial aspect of it, without the job creation element of it, without having it be a point of, driving national development and unlocking value for the state.
Okay, Rex, you want to ask a question? It's not time for you to ask your question.
Yes,
the answer.
I wanted to still go back.
Okay, so you do that quickly, then you ask the question.
Yes. Have you assessed what the National Theatre actually needs, the problem of the National Theatre? Because as I heard you, all you spoke about is air conditioning. The air conditioning that you are bringing to is split system, the one that you fix on this thing. Mm-hmm. A theatre that has a central air conditioning. I don't know whether it's a rocket science. And National Theatre's problem is not only air conditioning. They don't have a standby generator. They don't have a PA system. They don't have a proper lighting system. So if you go and rent a National Theatre as it is now, you have to bring back your standby generator, bring your own PA, bring your own lighting. So by the time you realize, the thing has become whatever it is. Now, as a deputy minister and the CEO of GTA, what advice have you given to your government? As you were complaining that because the government must find money to support it and whatever. What advice, knowing my brother Mark is a businessman, Kwesi Agyeman is a businessman, what advice have you given your government if you have accessed the National Theatre's problem and being a businessman, if it was yours? What advice have you given to the government?
Okay, NPP, you can answer that.
I think I did explain that rehabilitating a project or a building like National Theatre is not a one-day thing. And so Honorable Mark had indicated when he went to Parliament that there's some engagements with China, because you talk about the air conditioning system. The whole architecture was built by the Chinese. You understand? And so it was important that we exhaust that process to find out whether they could, based on the technology that they used at that time in 1982, to help fix it based on the bilateral arrangements. That it didn't work. Because you know how the Chinese system works. You're dealing with an ambassador here, whatever it is. So that didn't work. So government has taken a decision to fix it based on GOG. And the first thing, and that political will is to start, the first thing that is needed now, because the building itself is there, the whole place hasn't shut down. People are using it. And I cited what I went to watch last week, Uncle Bo is doing plays there. And right now with the new arrangement, it's a PPP arrangement. So they come in, they perform, and then they share revenue.
Bring their own standby generators.
No. But let me finish. So they share revenue with National Theatre. So now that work has started. But we realize that in any project, you look at what we call quick wins. What are the quick wins of the project? You need an air conditioner first, because there were 4 air conditioners that were brought in to augment the central system. That 4 was working, and that also broke down. And that's what really resulted in the heat. So now you need to chill the place first so that still they will be able to do the work that they do. So that extra air conditioners have come in, which is what you have confirmed. There's also a process of procuring a new standby generator. There's a standby generator there, but it's broken down. Huge. But per the assessment that has been done, that is not the type of standby generator that you need, because it's too big for the place. So a smaller unit is being procured. This process has started. Then there are other works that have to be done in terms of the chairs, the washrooms, and all those things. But it's a process. And you can also attest. Rex Omar has been there. He knows that all these things are happening. But I sometimes, I don't understand whether Baba Sadiq thinks that he's on a campaign platform or he's here throwing dust in the eyes of people. You can't tell me that.
You're insulting the intelligence of my constituents.
No, when you are standing on a political platform, it's a different thing. But this is a
no, but
debate,
you're insulting the intelligence of my constituents. I take an exception to it.
No, I'm saying when you are on a campaign for a sake of boy, it's different. Because when you tell me that you went to a breed and you saw a cultural village, and I tell you that it's not a cultural village, instead of being just.
So what is it?
It's an art and craft village. They are 2 different things. So Mark, wait.
You stated the Gushegu Smoke Culture Village.
No, we didn't say that. We said Gushegu.
Please one at a time.
I've written it here. There's nothing like anything like Gushegu Culture Village. It's not done anywhere. We said Gushegu Smoke Village. So that's what I've written here. It's a smoke village. But you are situating it into, like for example, if you tell me that, if you ask anybody in Accra here, where's the art center?
Can I ask my
they
question?
Will take you to the art center.
You ask a question.
Is the art center a cultural village?
You ask a question.
So Mark's question to you, which you failed to answer, was that you are saying that you are going to establish a cultural village. How different is that from the cultural center?
Thank you very much.
This simple question.
Still right here
you are doing
on Manifesto Debate on Creative Economy. And this show is actually sponsored by MTN Everywhere You Go and Superstar Multi-Food Drink. Have you guys heard of the latest from MTN? If not, then listen. Because for those of you who love MTN Free After One, prepare for the upgraded experience that is MTN Free After One Extra. Now, let me tell you what the extra is all about. With MTN Free After One Extra, you can talk for a whole 1 hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute every 10 minutes you talk, which means that for every 10 minutes you talk within an hour, you only pay for the first minute, and you get to talk for 60 minutes straight with no interruptions. You like what you hear? Well, I see that's not enough. You also get 70 megabytes of data for free after your first call. And so that is some good news for you. And now, still talking about creative industry, there are some of our friends doing well in comedy. And there is a new comedy show coming up. This is called The New Force. Yes. The New Force is a comedy special by the King of Impressions, Lexi the Comic, and it's happening on 28th of September 2024 at the UPSA Auditorium. So please join us at 7 p.m. For a night packed with top-notch comedy featuring supporting acts like Foster Romanus, Jacinta Ojo, General Tatia, Kojo PJ, Papayao, and many more, with Dan Kwekuyebwa as your MC. Tickets are going for 150 cedis only for regular and 250 cedis for VIP. The New Force Comedy Show is proudly sponsored by AVV Rise, KS Electricals, Asempa Fie Graphics, T-Lay, Kent Homes, and Antonio Reyes. And media partners are Joy FM, Joy Prime, Joy News, Hits FM, and Adom FM. Before you vote, you need to laugh. Don't miss The New Force on September 28th. Get your ticket now. Still here, Manifesto Debate on Creative Economy. You were about to ask a question before we move. You didn't ask your question, but you finished with the submission.
Let me do my question.
Okay, quickly.
Let me do my question, yes.
So you rebut and then you ask a question.
My question was... No. I
They
didn't ask a question.
So they rebut and then they ask a question.
Yes.
So you ask a question,
my question is, If I had...
He is the one who asked the question.
No.
Okay.
Let me ask my question.
Anchor Rex,
Let me ask my
you
question.
ask them a question first.
No, I didn't ask a question.
You asked them a question about how they're going to address the government regarding the National Theatre. So please, your turn now to ask a question.
Okay. This is a 2-in-1 question.
Okay.
One, have you, Baba Sadiq, especially to you, has the NPP, because I saw a news article quoting you that the NPP government has done nothing, zero, in the tourism, arts and culture space. I want you to confirm today whether there's nothing that you say the government has done.
Let me correct that. Hello? Let me correct that impression. On that particular show, I did indicate that you made 23 different promises to the sector from 2016. And as it stands at the point where we were, you've not been able to deliver these 23 promises. However, I've not dismissed it off to say that at least there hasn't been something that is not worthy of mentioning, like the the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. It's worthy of mentioning. But specifically, when you look at the 23 promises that you made today, if I ask you to tell me, you promised to build 10 large city theaters. You haven't done that. Even the existing one, you failed to even revamp it.
Okay.
You made a specific promise. I'm coming. You made a specific promises to it.
Okay.
There's a promise on hot cuts. That promise
hot cut has been revived.
No, that promise came back in 2020. In 2024, you still have a promise on hot cuts.
No, you are confusing hot cut with the National Hospitality Training Institute. Hot cut was dead in 2016. It was revived under this government. 2017, Honorable Katrina Feku went to cut the sword for hot cut to be reopened.
I mean, we know. Let me land before you say. Let me land before you take away. You ask the question. Let me land before you take away.
Just explain it to you.
Knowing the NPP, knowing the NPP, I'm coming. No, let me come. Let me build it. I'm building it. Knowing the NPP, cutting sword doesn't mean anything when it comes to
but it's been done. Hot cut last month did what do you call it?
Let's engage very well.
All right.
I'm referring to the 23 promises. I've mentioned the 10 large city theaters that have not been delivered.
All right.
You promise the collective management organizations a digital platform to enable them.
That's two.
Yes. Okay. You also promise the creative arts. No, that's three. You also
promise the Creative Arts Council was delivered, and the Creative Arts Council has come out.
Please, one at a time.
Ghana as the number one. We promise the law on tourism.
Mr. Diman, let him finish this question.
No, but you can't. You said
Mr. Diman, let him finish this question.
Let me finish up. You promised the Creative Arts Court. It's not been delivered.
Okay, 3.
Which that's 4. You are counting on your. Is that how you're going to count the election? This is how they are going to count the election results.
Okay.
You are used to calculate.
You promised the Creative Arts Court.
Okay.
You promised a digital platform to enable us, which Kwame referred you to.
Okay.
In actual fact, again, let me
so
just
what else has been done? Nothing has been done.
Yes. Oh. There's a whole lot. What have you done?
So
in fact, you did
now you've confirmed that something has been done.
No.
All right.
I've said to you that the 23 promises was not delivered. However, I cannot, with all fairness and objectivity, say that there's not been certain things that are worthy of mentioning.
Right, thank you.
I'm speaking to you about the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, for instance, but I'm pointing out to you that what you relied on to actually revamp the National Theatre, the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, which is the World Bank Tourism Development Project funds. The process started with us.
No process started with you.
It terminated in 2018.
No process started with you.
I've got the details on that.
No process started with you.
Prove that.
It's not true.
I am telling you that. I am saying that to anybody that's listening to us who can bring that.
You said so many things that are untrue on this platform.
Please.
Akwesi, yes, I am right when I say to you that
there are so many things
you've not delivered on your 23 promises.
For example.
But I will not also say that you've not had certain things worth of mentioning, like the revamping of the renovation of the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum and the campaign you launched with Year of Return. However, there are differences between Year of Return and December in Ghana. And I remember we had that engagement.
December in Ghana is another campaign.
But you picked it up when I pointed it out. After 2019, when I started in 2019. In 2019,
you picked up December.
No.
Kindly wrap up.
So if I don't land, December is start, baby. Akwesi, please, let me land.
Yeah, let him land.
Okay.
So that.
Let me land. I'm saying to you that after 2019, in 2020, I remember I kept on telling people that look, your return is different from December in Ghana component, which has been work in progress from the late 90s. December has always been a holiday maker spot in Ghana. In fact, in 2019, when conceptually your year of return idea, which is based on our slave heritage and...
Which was also done by NDC before he left.
Okay.
Every idea is your idea.
See,
Okay.
This is, I mean, I know.
Can we wrap
this
up?
is so that's the point of this. So I made to him that, look, you're the December in Ghana. We all know here in December, as far back I've known from our Kwaba days, look, some of the even activities that continue to be the content that has set our December in Ghana actually even predated, even your year of return. So I pointed out to you that when conceptually the concept of your year of return, which was based on our slave heritage and the forts and castles that we had, and also having a climax period around the summer period field, you looked at it, you waited in December. When December did what it was doing, as far back we've known it, you claimed it and then called it your return. Only for you to
can they respond now?
Can
they respond
no,
now?
He asked a question.
No,
he asked a question. No, you asked a question you asked. You asked me a question.
Are you not done with the submission?
I'm going to ask you a question. Yes, I'm done.
Let me ask
He asked me a question.
But he has a question for you.
No, the question I asked.
Are you asking a question?
Are
you asking a question?
Yes.
Okay.
He has asked the question already.
No. Please. December in GH was launched in August 2019. So it was...
Live FM actually started
December in GH was launched. Live FM was dead in 2019.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Okay.
Live FM was dead in 2019.
That's another thing for a different...
I don't want to...
All right, still right here. Joy FM, Joy News, Joy Prime. And we are celebrating women. It's time to celebrate the women changing the narrative. It's time to honor the women creating a pathway for the next generation. Glitz Africa presents the 9th annual Ghana Women of the Year Honors, the distinguished platform that honors and celebrates the hard work of Ghanaian women and beyond. The Ghanaian Women of the Year 2024 takes place at the Palm Convention Center today, 6 p.m. Media partners at Joy FM with support from Amaya Deborah and Yemi Baba. And also, we have another women event as Jeanette Services proudly presents the 7th edition of Women in Worship. Theme is the Rehoboth Experience. Join the powerful ministers of the gospel like never before. Mercy Chinwo, Eda Ehin, Diana Hamilton, Empress Gifty, and all-female team Team Eternity featuring Efe Grace, JOA, Rafia, Achia, and Lordina the Supremo. The date is 22nd September 2024. The time is 4 p.m. It's happening at the Oil Dome, Royal House Chapel International, Kaneshi Roundabout. Rate is 70 Ghana cedis and 150 cedis for class. You can get your tickets at Airport Shell, Bachona Total, Community 11, 1 and 2 Shell, or online you can go to agotickets.com, or you can dial *713 *33 *70 hash. You can also call 0248810396 to purchase your tickets now. Yes, so we are still right here, Manifesto debate on the creative economy. We have some of your messages now coming through. Yeah, before I come back to you, we're not done. We have some messages coming through, so we're just reading some of your messages now. And this one from Abbas Amugobo of Fenso. Each party should tell us how they are going to reduce the cost of data bundle. Then we also have Jonas Abe from Assembly House Production. Ask the Deputy Minister, I want to know what has happened to the 25% off that is given to theater groups when renting the theater space at the National Theater to promote our culture. And is the National Theater now a private company? And at which age should executives of the theater retire? There is another one from Jonas Abe, and then he says, I organized a drama theater competition for SHS since 2013. The CEO I have invited before to my competition. What is the government having in place, or what does the government have in place to support us to grow the industry? I have supported Ghana AIDS Commission, Gender, Children and Women Protection, Climate Change, Ghana, etc. Yet when you call the attention of government, they turn away. Joy, thank you very much for this program. Politicians must know that the Ghanaian voter will continue to seek accountability from them. See how the Deputy Minister is struggling to answer questions on a sector he's supposed to be in charge of with his boss. And he says, we are taking note of all the promises and their failure to deliver. As for the NDC, they should take a clue from what is happening now and know that we shall seek the same accountability from them he says when they come to power. And this one says, the Roundtable program is superb. I'm learning a lot from the creatives. Kudos to multimedia. I also want to thank the NPP and NDC for the articulation and civil engagement. Both parties have the ideas, except that the ruling government seems to be suffering from incumbency disadvantage. Ghana must win again. We have more of your messages here. NPP reps have been very articulate and explicit in their NPP manifesto presentation. Mr. Akwesi Agyemang's presentation, especially with the pictorial illustrations, is full of hope, in my opinion. But I'm all ears to hear who will promise filmmakers that he will retrieve the Ghana film industry building, now TV3, Adesawe, and give it back to the film practitioners. It is dear to our hearts. Bob Smith Jr., a.k.a. Diabolo Man. Thank you very much for your messages, and we are still here. It is the Showbiz Round Table. We're going for a quick break. When we come back, the show continues. Welcome back to Showbiz Roundtable 5th edition. This is Manifesto Debate on Creative Economy, and we're live on Joy FM, live on Joy News, live on Joy Prime Television, and also on myjoyonline.com and across our social media handles. Yes, let me tell you about Big Chef Tertiary. This is a culinary arts program that happens right here on Joy Prime, and we're asking, are you a food lover or a fan of fierce competition? Which tertiary institution do you believe has the best culinary talent? The heat is about to be turned up in the kitchen as the Big Chef Tertiary competition kicks off. So please just take and stay with Joy Prime almost every time and listen and watch the Big Chef Tertiary. We're still here and we are getting to the last round, the final round. But before we went for the break, we were left with one question from the NDC. Yes, so we give them the opportunity, the chance to also ask the question, and then we get into the audience to ask the questions as well. So let's go to the NDC. Your question to the NPP. Then we take
before the question, I mean, today you're hearing from the NPP saying that this is not a showmanship. Ahead of the 2016 election, they had their flag bearer engage in that grandstanding and showmanship, saying he was pointing out our inefficiencies and incompetence. Today, we've gotten to the point where we are pointing out to you right in your face your incompetencies, your inefficiencies, and you're saying it's not showmanship. Governance is a serious business. The NPP hasn't been serious. Now, let me go to my question. On tax incentives, they put in that on tax incentives and seed funding. On tax incentives and seed funding, let's make it clear. The Nana Addo Bawumia government continued to tax the usage of digital services like Spotify, YouTube, and payments intended for talents, which affects a key revenue line for some of these talents. Don't they think that this particular promise they make in the wake of what is happening betrays that intention? And secondly, you say you want to bring the Heritage Fund. You've not delivered in 8 years your Creative Arts Fund. You've not created your Film Fund. How are we to believe and trust that what you've not been able to do in 8 years, when you had the full opportunity to do that, you will be able to do it when you get another opportunity?
Okay.
Is this not just a flimsy excuse?
Okay.
Okay,
or
thank
promise?
you.
Sorry.
I think your question is a pregnant one, so let me take the Heritage one.
The Heritage Fund one.
The Heritage Fund one. We have already 3 funds in the ministry. The tourism one, and the non-existing one that you want to revive, which is the Creative Arts Fund one.
Film Fund.
Film Fund,
and
then Heritage. we are working on a document to go back to Parliament and see how we can merge some of the funds. Because like the Creative Arts one, and the Creative Arts one and the film one.
But in your manifesto, you indeed indicate that you are bringing the Creative Arts. This excuse actually now betrays.
No, it does not mean that. I've told you that manifestos are not cast in stone. You make it sound like manifestos are cast in stone. When you promised your theater a few years ago, where was the theater?
Are you admitting that you are hoodwinking the industry? Are you admitting that? Are you admitting that you're lying to us? No, you did that to us.
Can you listen to
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. So we are saying that we are going to merge the funds so that the load that is on the people who pay into some of these funds, like the tourism fund, GAMRO goes to them, ASO goes to them, which are the one, EPA and all of that, they pay about 17 plus GRA. And so we want to reduce the load. So we'll merge some of them so finally we'll have about just 2. But you know, heritage has a lot to do with tourism, and then film has a lot to do with the creative arts. That's what we want to do. Don't say that.
Okay.
No, Sadiq,
okay.
Never stop saying that because you promised and couldn't do it, I cannot trust you. Okay. Because I can recollect your candidate, your current candidate, promising a theater in Kumasi. That never happened.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
much.
Let me answer the
Now, let's give the audience the...
He's not answered the question on the tax breaks and seed funding that I spoke about. He's not answered.
Yeah, I think that is quite clear that we worried as industry players and also as regulators. And so already we've started a process of trying to harmonize the various tax regimes in the industry. So organizations like EPA, Standards Authority, FDA, they all tax the industry. It's us up to the taxes in the industry, which is somehow overburdening our players. And that is why I'm quite excited with the flat tax regime that Dr. Bawumia is promising, that everything will be harmonized and then operators will pay a flat tax. I think that is something that is laudable. And that is the point that I'm making to my brother Sadiq, that let's not try to play to the gallery. Because at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is to really look at the policies and look at ways that we can help improve upon them. If you are standing here claiming that the Ghana Tourism Development Project that started in 2018.
So the process started
in 2016. God bless you for that. There are some things that have been done under this government, but I know that it's going to be continued by Dr. Bawumia. So things like, for example, showing the amphitheater that you just showed. It's there. The foundation has been built. The walls have been built. If you go to whichever government comes into power, and I know it's going to be the NPP, we'll continue from there. That is tangible. That is how we build a nation. We don't build a nation by just coming in and picking, okay, this one. Now, look, we talk about viciousness and all that. Madame Ibn Frimpong, very qualified woman. She also started from being a player in the industry, rising to the top, now was appointed by His Excellency John Mahama. The NPP comes, she continues. Now you are denying her.
Okay.
These are the kind of
no more rebuttals. No more rebuttals. Let's allow the audience also ask their questions now. And you can still send in your messages 055 1111 and 997 055 15 757. And George Bosompem, is he here? PRO for GAFTA. Okay. He is not here now, but okay. Okay, George Bosompem, if you are ready, kindly move forward. George is not right here with us as of now. So Adam Mensah Chotome is a journalist. Sir, please move forward and take the microphone and ask your question.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed, the discussion going on here. Kwame, my problem is with the Creative Art Bill, which has been passed into an act, but not operational because of lack of an ally. I was really disappointed when I did not see the Creative Art Act featuring in both manifestos. The NDC started the process. The NPP came to continue. Such a document which is going to structure the space did not find a space in both manifestos. aspects, like especially one aspect like the fund, featured in all of you. But do you think that it's all about the fund? What about the measures to ensure that the space is running? So I want to understand why the whole document, because, I mean, when you come and you do not pass it.
Your question should be concise.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you come and you do not pass it, you are creating a way that we will not be able to touch you. And also, when you also continue and we do not see it in operation, you are creating an avenue where we cannot touch you.
Okay.
I wanted to see it feature because it's not operational.
The question is
why didn't the operationalization of the Creative Art Bill feature in both manifestos? It's like you don't care.
Thank you. So you're asking both of them. You're asking both the NDC and the NPP. Please note down the question. Let me take another person. Yes, please move forward. And this is Mr. James Abuaje, who is the president of FIPAC. He's right here with us. We take about 3 or 4 of the questions before we answer, so please take note of them. Yes, please go straight to the point.
I have 2 questions, one for NPP and one for NDC.
Okay. Quickly.
My first question, and the question to NPP is, are you sure that you'll be able to complete the theaters? Because somehow I'm not convinced. And NDC, you mentioned DTT. In this modern day, I think DTT will not help us in terms of distribution of films, because it will mean that if we want to consume movies, we would have to carry along our television sets, or we need television sets. But these days, content are being consumed everywhere. So we would prefer more convenient system to consume the content. So the DTT is not the solution. I think if it is enhanced, it will help the industry.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Robert Clark. From there, I come to the lady here. Mr. Robert Clark is a creative entrepreneur and a PRO for Telesol Ghana Music Awards.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So the first one I want to say, or the first question goes to reiterate something that somebody actually put on the list, what I think that both parties need to be able to address. That has to do with the data reduction, because they are saying we are walking into the digital economy automatically. They are saying that they are engineering it, but both parties need to understand that data is key to the digital economy. And for as long as we are expanding, that particular area needs to be addressed. So we need the two of them to, so I'm just calling it out. My main question is, an assessment of the creative economy clearly points out that when you use the word economy, we are talking about creation of value, which has to do with business. And therefore, we need to have a conversation about the creative industry without eliminating the role of the businesses responsible for the industry. The conversations, usually, you don't hear businesses being enabled and how they can thrive and how their works can be protected. So, the question here is this. How and what are they doing to ensure that we are, first of all, protecting the companies that are within the space? How are we enabling them to thrive? And how are we protecting their works so that they can drive the creative economy? Because ultimately, it has to be done by the businesses and not necessarily the government if we want to allow the private sector to lead.
All right, thank you very much, Robert Clark. So, and NDC and NPP will answer these 3 questions. We take another set of questions. Yes, I've seen you.
All right, so let me go first.
Hook up and then
on the creative arts.
Okay.
I think when we say the creative arts,
you have 3 minutes to answer all.
Yes, I will answer all 3.
Yes,
when you say the creative arts, it's no longer a bill, it's an act, it's not operational. I don't understand. It's operational. The operationalization is making sure an office is set up, and the office then is the one that will start the implementation of all the various guidelines in the act.
Have an airline.
So it's, if you somebody, for example, the Tourism Act was passed in 2011. As we speak, we are doing an airline on short-term rentals. we are working on an LI on spas. In 2019, we passed an LI on tourist sites and attractions. As by 2019, the only two that we had passed was one on accommodation and food and beverages. So it's not one LI. There will be a series of legislative instruments that the agency has to oversee. So let's get that clear. So it's not just like, oh, I've heard people say that they don't have an LI. When the Tourism Act was passed, there was no LI. The act is there, but the act would then, you as the agency is the one has to lead, because the LI has to have an agency that owns it. You have to do stakeholder engagements, you have to go around, and then at the end of the day, the LI goes to Parliament, which then is laid for 21 days. Sadiq was mentioning that. So the act itself is operational. There are people who are working there. The issue of the complete setup, and I think we've said it several times, when you have to set up fully, you have to employ staff, you have offices and all that. Currently, they have offices. The offices are at Kaukudi that has been given to them by the ministry, furnished fully by the ministry. Then there have been appointments made. The appointments are in an acting capacity. When you are appointed by the president, and that's why you go to places, you have acting CEO, acting this, acting, because the president will appoint. But by the constitution, you have to go to the Public Services Commission to get that. When the Public Service does that, they do a technical clearance. Then you need financial clearance for Ministry of Finance, because your salary is going on to the Controlling Accountant General payroll. We hit a bit of a snag on it in 2022 during the issue of the difficulties the economy was facing. There was a circular that was sent to all agencies that no government agency should hire.
Mr. Ajima, you have 1 minute more. You have more
Okay,
questions
so
to answer.
Now let's go to the theater. Mark will answer that. In terms of data reduction, in the manifesto, we mentioned 3 things to deal with that. One was increased investment in telcos that we are going to encourage, because it's an issue also of demand and supply. When there's more, they need to come down. Recently, when Starlink was announced, all of a sudden, there was movement in the system, because everybody realized that you could have a cheaper alternative. That is one, increased investment in telcos. 2, policy guidelines. And it's all stated in the manifesto that we are going to come out with policy guidelines on pricing and all that for the telcos, so that there's some conformity. And also spectrum allocation. You need more players to come in to make sure that. So those are the 3 things to deal with.
You didn't answer the DTT, or you don't have an answer to that?
Mark will answer. The DTT is it's not in our manifesto.
That is the NDC.
It's in the NDC manifesto. It's an outmoded.
So you are done with your answers. Let's go to the NDC.
Let's go on the creative.
There's one more question.
One more question. Amphitheater.
Which one will you take first? DTT.
Is it James who said it? Then
Amphitheater.
Yes.
Quickly, sir.
Quickly, yes.
Quickly, sir.
Yes. So, James, I want to assure you that we want to use the amphitheater to make a statement to the creative practitioners that Dr. Baumia means business. And so we mean what we say. We told you that we're going to build theaters when we didn't have enough funding to build the ultra-modern theaters. We have shown good faith. We have built amphitheaters. They are just not completed. But we have shown that, yes, we mean well, and we have started.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. Let's the NDC answer the questions in 3 minutes.
Okay, so I'll touch with the what you said about the businessmen. I'll come to the DTT later. The business people in the creative industry. That's why we have in our manifesto that we will support the creative entrepreneurs. These are the business people in the creative industry. For example, it takes a record company or record label to record an artist, or a producer or a production company to produce. It takes an event organizer to hire an artist for him to perform and all that. That's why we say we will support already existing medium-scale organizations and small-scale organizations, including startups. So that, and we are referring to the creative entrepreneurs. So it is in our manifesto, because you cannot power or enable any industry without the needed funding. So it is in our manifesto. Now let me go to the DTT. I want to draw your attention, Mr. Abwaje, that technology has gone so far. So now DTT can also enable you to watch the same thing on your phone, on your tablets. So we've researched. So those who are sitting in the home can watch on television. You are in your car, you can watch it on phone. You can watch it on your tablet. So it is still a relevant technology that will enable the industry. Thank you.
In fact, starting from there, before I go to the creative arts, I'm aware, or we know that there are a number of people that are watching what we're doing right now on their phones. And the primary platform where Joy Prime broadcasts is a DTT platform, the T2 platform. So yes, DTT is not modern. In Ghana here, one of the major media revenue lines or revenue avenues is television. I mean, I'm sure Francis will confirm that that particular in the mix, in the multimedia mix, that particular avenue that continues to attract a lot more of the pie. I mean, per annum is about 300 million cities per annum, and television continues to attract a lot more. So television is still a very viable avenue in the country here. And so creating a DTT platform for creative industry practitioners to use to be able to deploy pay-per-views is something that was still relevant here. To the question of the creative arts, yes, the creative arts, it's in our manifesto. You will notice that you cannot operationalize a fund without the LI. And I'm sure when Makosi was speaking, maybe he didn't appreciate the limitation the creative arts agency has now, because the LI provides certain specifics that would enhance the operationalization of the creative arts. If you read it very well, you see there are certain things, there are certain requirements, certain decisions that the acting currently she cannot take. And that explains why some time back, the deputy minister here explained that, we understand the limitations. That's why the staff that we have are seen as staff members of the ministry, under the payroll of the ministry, and actually being enabled from the ministry points. So it is in our manifesto. The LR is key to the rationalization of the Creative Arts Agency, as well as the Creative Arts Fund. And so whilst you deal with the issue of the Creative Arts Fund, that LI comes to operationalize both. Now, on the issue of data reduction.
That's your last.
We have made certain specific promises relative to that. We've always maintained that there's a tax component that continues to make data expensive. Our flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and the incoming president had promised that some of these needless taxes that is within the cost build-up is going to, cut it off. Again, we also recognize that telecommunication organizations in this country today has become largely expensive because this government, every government needs to create a conducive environment for businesses. So there's certain investment that you needed to do. The last time any government did a major investment relative to telecommunications by laying fiber optic cable that would enable all of these things was the NDC. This hasn't quite happened. This explains why the MTN had to spend almost $25 million to do a technology upgrade. And so it adds up to the burden of operating organization. If the government had actually done their part by making the necessary investments that makes the space conducive for the telecommunications organizations.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're certain that this would have gone into their costing and would have reduced it. And these are some of the things that we
I am picking the lady here, FOCAP President and Socrates. And there is a comedian. Please, your name and which organization you represent.
I'm Jifa Agbetapa, actress and a producer. I belong to FIPAC, Ghana Actors Guild and all that. Okay, so, yes. Honorable Kwesi Ajiman, when you were playing the video, it said you had a theater built in Koforidua. And so I would want to ask the Honorable Minister, where in Koforidua that we have the theater that has been built. And then when our able deputy minister was also speaking, he made mention of the pension schemes that FIPAC is also running. I'm a member of FIPAC and I do not have any clue as to that. And so I would want to ask the minister where he got his facts from, that FIPAC is also having a pension scheme, because I know that we do not have. And my president is here, which Mr. Boaji is here. He can testify to that. So I want to get the facts from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Foka, please be snappy with your question so we can just do this in time.
Okay, I'll be snappy. I'll even answer the theater thing. There's nothing like theater in Koforidua. It's actually a rehabilitation of the cultural center, so there's nothing called National Theater. So Minister shouldn't even bore himself to answer. The other thing has to do with the illegality that is being played at the CAA. Because Edgeman is trying to convince us, to make us feel that there's something that is happening there. It is wrong. The one who is there, the illegal Jankroma Ekufuado who is sitting there, has not been appointed by anybody. He's been operating that place since 2018. Check your own website. You will see cac.gov.gh on a National Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture page, website that is going for an individual whose logo is being touted here as Creative Art Agency, and that is a lie. How many times haven't the ministry stopped Jankroma from activating certain things that she's doing there? My question that I want to ask, I think that
please,
Mark,
30 seconds.
Yeah,
Please,
30 seconds. No problem. No problem. Mark. No, I really wanted to clarify these things because it's very important. You can't do that to us. Mark did say something about the passports, concerning the passports that you wanted to say.
TPS.
The TPS. I want to get more clarification on it. Were you saying you're going to give artists diplomatic passports or service passports to let them do what they want to do there?
Okay. Thank you very much. I can see two people here from the comedy side, and Sokwe Safo. Quickly, please. Quickly, please. Okay. Percy Abrimpong represents the comedians in Ghana Comedians Network. And please let me remind you, let me also bring your attention to this, that Joy News will be going off at 5:50. Okay, so if you're watching, you can just keep watching Joy Prime and enjoy FM. Percy, please continue.
Yes, I'm Percy Obrempo Japan, the president of Ghana Comedians Network. Just a quick one. I think both sides should be intentional about whatever ideas that we bring to fore, because I think that's been an issue. And I remember when you interviewed the last time, when I was traveling, I have to speak to you on phone, I'm saying that the ideas are there in all sectors, everywhere. The only thing is that we lack the intentionality of it, and Nigerians do it better. So it gets to it because they start on to just stretch it. But to move to that point, I want each part to just give us two points. What is Ghana going to do when it comes to this industry? For us not to be behind Nigerians, but to take our place, so that Kasano and Dawson, let's move the action. Let's see the thing. And please, both like NACO and I think NDC also had a program like that for the youth. Please, those programs, they don't bring any results. If we can ask for half of that budget to the creative
Thank you very much, Percy.
We will have serious results. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Percy. So we will take 2 minutes from each of you. You come back to do your closing remarks, but to answer the questions, you do that in 2 minutes. There was a question on the theater in Koforidua pension scheme, 5-pack pension, that's the pension scheme, the illegality at the Creative Art Agency according to FOCAP, and then the TPS.
It's not according to FOCAP.
According to them, they are saying.
No, it's somebody there. It's not an please.
Okay, so please answer, NPP, please answer to the questions.
All right, so National Koforidua Theatre, I think Kujo nailed it on the head, that there's no national theatre. It was a facelift of an old theatre.
That's what they indicated.
Yeah, but that's what he said, that we promised that we're going to build theatre.
Center for National Culture.
We couldn't build it, but we upgraded Koforidua and it's been completed.
So
that's exactly what was on the video.
That's what the audio also said.
The audio
okay,
said that.
to the next set. Yes.
Okay, again, clarification of diplomatic passport, service passport. I mentioned 3 things. Diplomatic, service, and relations. Already, Mr. Kwesajman will tell you that we do that with relations for the people in the arts, and they know.
Including diplomatic passports?
No.
Using relations. Yes.
them getting visas.
Yes.
So we mentioned that.
Example.
One is, we don't want to mention them.
We don't want to.
I think if a lot of the players in the industry know that we facilitate a lot of visas. And I mentioned that you could do that through a note verbal through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Okay. We provide that assistance. And he said there are options to look at. If, for example, somebody is going to present on behalf of the government, then that person can be given a service passport. When you come back, you present it back.
Okay.
But these are all options of implementation.
All right. Can we touch on the 5-pack pension scheme?
I think I said that. I understand that they are in a making. They are doing something. They say they are engaging some insurance company. So your president is here. You can ask him because he told me.
but that's yes.
Okay. So Mr. James Abuaje is here, but he's not answering to this.
But I think
yes, because but if he's here, he should just quickly answer that.
The question was not about 5
because he's been cited. Please, simple question.
Yes.
Is it in process?
We raised this issue with the ministry. So they brought most of the insurance companies in Ghana together at Alisa Hotel. So after the Alisa engagement...
So Deputy Minister is right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Followed it up with
thank you very much.
and Glyco.
Thank you very much, Mr. James Abuaje. Thank you very much.
Kwame,
and then please, FOCAP's question, then we go to the NDC.
I said there's no FOCAP question.
No.
The person mentioned the person's name.
No, Mr. Kojo Dankwa,
but he's not
convener of FOCAP.
Yes, but he didn't answer.
The illegality.
You see the illegality
he said it wasn't a question. He only said that now to my question, after talking about the illegality. And he said now to my question.
Okay.
So I want to know if that one was a question.
NDC.
But he wants you to speak to the illegality. He wants you to speak to
NDC.
What is happening now. And
was any question directed to you? Because
really.
Percy was making reference to the fact that how the
Okay. So
for example,
so let me answer that.
Please, let them answer the Percy
question. Let me answer the Percy
question.
Let me answer the Percy questions before you come in.
Yeah.
Percy, the reason why we, NDC and our flag bearer, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has looked at the broad spectrum. Because for the first time, he is putting the creative economy as one of the major pillars of development and job creation. We didn't just do it because research has proven that this is the only sector that creates jobs for both youth and women than any other sector. And because it is in the informal sector, he's trying to streamline it because the cultural side will become the feedstock, and then the creative economy will become the industry, and then the tourism side will become the beneficiary. So this is going to be a measure that it hasn't happened before. So rest assured that the main purpose for this is job creation for youth and women. So he is really intentional about it. Find time and read the manifesto.
Thank you very much. Now, you have 1 minute each to give your closing remarks, both NDC and NPP. Let me start with the NPP, sir.
No, why don't you start with them?
Okay. Any which way. Okay, it's a closing remark, so anybody can just do that. Please do it.
You are in government. You are in power.
Mr. Ajiman, please do it.
We are giving you the respect.
Yes, please do it. Your closing remarks. In 1 minute, sir.
You are the one preparing to leave.
Please, you have 50 seconds left.
But I have
50 seconds left, sir.
How can I 50 seconds? But I think it's been a good session. I mean, I appreciate the audience who are here and those who are back home watching us and listening to us. Like I indicated, this was supposed to be a conversation. We are very clear, we are very intentional, but like human beings as we are, as a government, as a party in power, will not get it all right. Our flag bearer indicated that we haven't been able to do all the things that we said we were very going to do. But he's somebody who has bold solutions. He says, if you are going to dream, you better dream big, because it's the same energy that you use to dream small. And so he's dreaming very big for the industry. If you look at our manifesto and the commitments that we made, touching on aviation, touching on the cultural side, the heritage, it's very, very broad. The NDC is talking about Black Star Experience. It's a good project, but I want them to remember that just as they said a year of return is nothing, you are going to start a Black Star Experience that is also going to use festivals and other things. And now you tell us
Thank you, MPP. NDC, please.
I appreciate... No, please, let me finish. Let me end it, please. So
it's one from here.
I appreciate them. I mean, for those of us watching, we are brothers, Baba Sadiq and myself and Rex Umar. And so don't take too much into... the banter.
Let's finish quickly.
But they know that
January 2025
we'll invite them to the
swearing ceremony. NDC,
No,
NDC.
Yeah.
Yes, 1 minute to just wrap up.
I think that, it's been a fruitful engagement for us at NDC and our flag bearer. We've always been emphatic that the CAT sector, the culture, art, and tourism sector, can be a vehicle for to drive national development, job creation in the country. We'll urge everybody that if you want to see the really bold, the leader that has the really bold ideas, he spoke about aviation. Today, the MICE sector that we are all seek for cannot be spoken about without the Terminal 3. It takes a bold leader that understands the various sectors of the economy to actually take decisive steps to enable it. We haven't experienced decisive leadership in the last 8 years. We haven't seen the political will and the deliberate actions to enable various industries. We think that a vote for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC is a vote for development, it's a vote for progress, it's a vote for jobs, prosperity, and accountability. Vote for
thank
the
you
NDC.
very much.
Vote for the
before they take us off air.
Vote for the NDC and all our parliamentary candidates. And if you're in the Calcutta Central,
thank you very much. It's been a great encounter right here at the 5th edition of Joy FM's Showbiz Round Table Manifesto debates on the creative economy. A big thank you to the NPP, to the NDC, to you, Mr. Francis Doku, to the entire audience that came here. A big thank you to you for spending time with us. It's been a very fruitful engagement with the policymakers and the stakeholders of the creative industry. This has been Showbiz Roundtable, 5th edition, the Manifesto debates on creative economy. Thank you to Aswavo Security, to Philip Nye, who's the producer of the show, assisted by Anita Tay and Martin Owusu Asari. Not forgetting Sarah and the entire crew. We are grateful to you for spending time with us right here on Joy FM, on Joy Prime, Joy News, and all our social media platforms. My name is Kwame Dadzi. Thanks so much. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so with that shake, we say goodbye to all of you for tuning in to this wonderful program. History has been made. History has been made, and we hope that whoever wins power come December 7 actually lives by their words. Thank you so much. We are gone.